Welcome to the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show on iHeartRadio. Just ahead, we talk with Autumn at Ford Motor Company about the EV crate motor. I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
All right, we'll see.
Autumn, he told me what your last name is, but I don't believe him because it's not spelled that way. She's with Ford Motor Company. We're going to talk about the EV crate motor in just a moment, and we'll find out how she got that name. Mike Mars reviews our new vehicle of the week, the 2022 Kia Sorento. Plus, we'll have the upcoming events calendar later on. And star of stage, screen, and television live from the left coast, the fabulous Jack Nerad. Plus, we'll have the auto news headlines for the week. Just ahead on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy. Along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. I'm Don Armstrong. Jeff Zekin is out today. He will be back with us and joining us at the big NHRA Spring Nationals coming your way next weekend at Houston Raceway Park. It's going to be a 3-day extravaganza of drag racing extraordinaire with all the big stars of the show. And we'll hope to have most of those on, including our best bud. That would be Antron Brown.
With his own team, his own car, and his own...
Well, you know, he made that announcement last year at this event on this show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
a world exclusive.
Yeah. Now, let us turn our attention, if we can, please, to Autumn with the Ford Motor Company and talk about the EV crate motors. But Autumn, hi, honey. It's good to see you.
Hi, guys. How's it going?
Okay, so would you please tell me how you pronounce your last name?
Schwabi.
Schwabi. Okay.
See, it was right.
Well, he was
I know,
right.
it's a weird one. The L is silent. It's German. A lot of people mess it up. So thank you for asking before you butchered
it, right?
Before,
like everybody else does.
And embarrass myself like I always do. So we're starting off with my embarrassment, but we'll just move past that, okay?
That's all right. Never happened.
So it never happened. That's exactly right. So Autumn, EV crate motors. And, we were having a discussion just last week about when are the car manufacturers, Ford, Chevy, Chrysler, going to come up with a crate motor plan for EVs. And I know that...
And then we have you on this week.
And we have you on this. Such a miracle.
Perfect.
Hey, I know it is perfect.
All in the timing.
So tell me about Ford's apparently recently announced EV crate motor program.
Absolutely. So Ford Motor Company came out with the first ever all-electric crate motor. So we actually revealed it back at SEMA 2021. So, just very recently. And we demonstrated it actually in an old F100 to showcase what that vehicle, can do with that motor. So that crate motor, it's, kind of one of its kind. It's based off of the Mustang Mach-E motor. So horsepower wise, it's about 281 and pounds of torque is about 317. So it's, it's a fun little motor and it's actually very affordable. So you can find it at Ford Performance Parts. It's about just over $4,000. And when we revealed it at SEMA, I mean, our customers went crazy.
That's a steal.
We completely sold out.
Yeah.
It was amazing. We knew it was going to be a hit, but we didn't know it was going to sell it that quick.
So Autumn, for me, a crate motor contains the motor and all of the things that go along with it. Does this include the brain that the EV motor needs to go down the road?
Sadly, no. Right now, we're just offering the crate motor, but Ford Performance Parts is really working on developing those extra things that you need to put it in the vehicle. But as of right now, it's just the motor itself.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, because, to me, as a do-it-yourselfer kind of car guy, I would need to have the brain because you're not looking at the brain power on my end to be able to make that work in a car.
Well, I imagine that's all shortly to come.
Yeah.
But, a build like that isn't going to be short build. It's going to take a while to build.
To me, the idea, I know you can get that stuff out on the aftermarket. It's obviously out there. But to me, I'm kind of like Don. You go buy a crate motor now, a gasoline-powered crate motor. You can get a long block, short block. You can get it in different configurations. So you're going to get this. My mind goes to, okay, what am I going to do about getting my transmission adapter so I can put a transmission to it?
You don't need a transmission.
No, you don't need a transmission.
You can just run it straight to the axles?
Absolutely.
Yeah, straight to the axles or straight to the prop shaft.
So how do you put it in neutral or park?
You don't.
That's
you don't.
what that's at the power controllers. The control system's about.
Well,
And the
okay.
traction
See,
inverter.
so that shows my ignorance. So that's back to Don's point. If I go get a crate motor for me, I got to have everything.
Well, the specs on yours is 217 foot-pounds of torque. Now, if you think about that in EV, that's 317 foot-pounds of torque at the hit of the throttle. That's the way electric motors work. And it's only going to weigh altogether 205 pounds. It's going to be a third the weight of a typical gasoline engine and transmission assembly. It's going to make it fun to drive.
What were you going to say, Mars? Just go ahead and say it.
I was going to say, as far as weight goes, adding weight to the car, like on a Saturday night, I've had dates that added that much weight to the car.
Oh, my God.
We wish you didn't say that.
So you have to remember the batteries are what really weighs down the vehicle.
Correct.
So yes, that motor is light, but then the weight will come from the batteries that are needed.
And the battery packs, there's a number of different battery packs available and battery styles available from the NiCad to.
So
now, are you going to sell the batteries too?
As of right now, I cannot say what future products, but Ford Performance is working on the extra items.
Oh, my
needed.
God.
Well, I mean,
so you've been schooled in the Mike Levine school of interviews on radio, no doubt.
I do work very closely with Mike Levine, and everyone has to say our little spiel, but that's how we stay professional.
I know.
And I would assume it's at some point this will be a bolt-in, plug-and-play system that they're going to have available.
Absolutely.
And I know you can't say that, but I can because that's the way it's going to work. You know.
So in other words, what I'm getting here is the fact that if you want a Ford EV motor, buy it now. Put it in the closet because right around the corner is going to be the controller, and then the batteries are going to be there shortly thereafter.
Right.
Well,
I said it, you didn't. It's okay.
Well,
sounds good.
Yeah, so if you've got a 32 Ford or a 56 Chevy or something like that you want to convert, then that's your starting point because you've got to get the motor, you've got to get it fabbed up to get the motor in there and stuff. So. Yeah, I could see that. And then by the time you get ready to where you need the controller and stuff, it could be there.
I could see them selling a complete package that it's a bolt-in and go to your 65 Mustang.
Well, I will tell you this, that we did an interview here about, I want to say a year and a half ago, with a fellow that owned a company out in California that he was taking Tesla motors and Tesla controllers and installing them in, mom's 72 Buick.
He had a
Skyline.
63 split window Corvette sitting there that he was doing the conversion.
Yeah, that was in Long Beach.
Yeah.
So the technology is out there, and if you want to keep your Ford F-100 stock, and as far as a motor is concerned, and you want to go electric, now you can
have
do
all
that.
the components to do
because
that.
you know how us car guys are. We want to keep our Chevy. We want to keep our Ford.
Oh,
yeah. And so
right there with you. Trust me, I know.
yeah. So how are the orders going with the EV motor, the crate motor?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we sold out right when we showcased it, and we were just so shocked and so excited. So as of right now, they're slowly getting out to customers. So really looking at like the long term this year, we're really looking forward to seeing what our customers, put these motors in. We're really excited to see how they take, how we showed it in the F100 SEMA build, and then how they put it in their own, classic vehicles. So as of right now, orders are getting out, but we don't have anything, any questions, or we do have a tech line so that people can ask, anything needed. But right now, orders are slowly moving.
Yeah, I posted the link to the Ford Performance Parts, the Illuminator Mach-E electric motor page on our social media. And I'm assuming that you guys know of some SEMA builds that are happening with your electric motor as SEMA is coming around, November this coming year.
October,
so I would think if you are out delivering these motors right now, there are people who are planning a SEMA build around it.
I personally don't know of any yet, but fingers crossed there's some really cool builds. We definitely want to see what our customers do.
Have you been to SEMA?
Oh my gosh, every year.
I think you're the only one that's never been, Don.
What? Well, we got to get you there. It is amazing. I've been going since I was in college. In college, I worked with Ford Performance as an intern, and luckily I was able to go each and every year as a student. And from a student eyes going into, a professional full-time employee with Ford and Ford Performance, it's just such a fun time. You get to do so many fun things and see a lot of cool things.
Where did you go to school?
I went to Northwood University. It's a private business school located in Midland, Michigan. And I got a very unique degree. It's automotive aftermarket marketing and management. And yes, there's a degree for it. I knew my whole life I wanted to go in the automotive business. And I know you guys will like this. I am a drag racer. So you guys talk about NHRA, all of that. I am licensed in NHRA, and I have my own drag car.
So have you driven the electric Cobra Jet? Have you gotten behind the wheel of the electric Cobra Jet?
Not yet, but I've always been around it since the beginning. And the guys have gotten me kind of sat in it, feel it out. But what the hardest part is? I'm too short to reach the pedals right now.
Well, you get some 4x4s and tape some 4x4s to the pedals and get
I might sit on a phone book. Yeah.
Platform shoes. So what are you licensed for in NHRA? Which license?
As of right now, I just have my starter license. So I just got it this last fall. I have a 1989 Fox Body Mustang that I did a full motor swap for a Gen 2 Coyote.
Oh, wow.
And I now have a 3-liter Whipple behind that. So, and then I just upgraded from a C4 to a Turbo 400.
She's a car girl.
Yes, she is.
Would you like would you like to go on the Texas tour, hot rod tour of Texas with me next week, a couple of weeks?
Absolutely. Let's go.
Okay, we're all right.
We'll
get
send you the invite.
Yeah, we'll send you
the. And I heard you guys talking about the NHRA spring break shootout, and I'm all there. I'm ready to go to any NHRA races.
Yeah, that's next weekend is the NHRA Spring Nationals, and
all right, perfect. I'll meet you guys there.
My daily business, my full-time job, we have a relationship with Bob Tasca. Bob Tasca III and his Mustang, and I know you guys have a huge relationship with him through the years. A lot of fun.
Yeah. In my role, we work so closely with Bob, just kind of managing his contract, making sure he has what he needs. And especially from a Ford Performance side, we do a lot with the YES program. So bringing in that, the younger generation.
Youth educational services.
Tech. Yeah. So we definitely, in my role, I do a lot. My job in motorsports is really all of motorsports management. So all the areas at Ford Performance races, I help out with different characteristics. So definitely very fond of the Tasca family. They're amazing, and they represent Ford Motor Company so well.
Oh, don't they, though? They're like your largest parts distributor in the country. It's a great operation.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we are truly looking forward to the race next weekend, and I don't know whether Bob's going to be here or not, but we'll assume that he is.
He will be.
But so back to the EV crate motor. So why would somebody want to put an EV crate motor in a car? And I mean, at this point, so early on in EV conversions, that it seems to me, but man, that would be a huge undertaking without the controller that goes with it.
No, I don't think it's as big a problem.
You don't think so? Well, because I know that the technology is there and the blueprints are there of how to do it yourself, and I guess that you could cobble together all that stuff.
Well, all of the components, I think, are out there and available at this point from what the Illuminator Mach-E powertrain is. I think that is just the source of the motor. It's kind of like throwing an LS in a car. Yeah, you could throw an LS, or you threw a Coyote in the car. Well, you still have all of the other stuff to make the Coyote and the Whipple work in your Fox body, and some of that's going to be provided by Ford, some of that's going to be provided by the aftermarket. It's all out there.
Well, but I wonder if you're going to get the motor. The crate motor is based on the Mustang Mach-E. Why couldn't you piece out the parts from the Mustang and make them work? Get the controller, a replacement parts.
No, I can touch on that. So our F100 Illuminator build that we did for SEMA is really a Mustang Mach-E GT performance package. So the full drivetrain with the Illuminator in it, with a 1978 F100 on top. So if you guys have not seen that yet, definitely look into it. We took a full Mustang Mach-E GT from the, powertrain to the interior. So when you open the doors, you get a little bit of that retro mod. So absolutely, our customers will get this crate motor. they want to, do a full retro mod, they could take some of the Mustang GT components from the Mach-E and put it in that build. So that's something that we, demonstrated in that vehicle. So, like I said, you walk around the vehicle, it looks like an old truck, but then when you start it up, it's silent. You open the door, but you have those huge screens that you have in the Mach-E. You have the upgraded seats that, are just in the GT, performance pack. So we definitely want our customers to, I don't want to say, part out anything or, but definitely take a look at that build and then get inspired to take out old Mustang, old Bronco, old truck, whatever it may be, and convert it into that new electric build.
Have you driven that F-100?
All the time. I love
Look at that
truck.
smile. Look at that smile.
Oh yeah. I mean, from driving, traditional ICE vehicles and getting into that old truck. I mean, I was just actually at the New York Auto Show where we did some media drives, and I got to drive around New York, and it was a showstopper. People were just looking left and right like, whoa, what is that? I've driven it at, some other events. I've coordinated at different displays such as like PRI, and people are so drawn to it because it's so new, so fresh. They've never seen anything like it. And like I said, what it really demonstrates is, Ford Performance Parts being the lead for that electric revolution, and that, hot rod builders and that custom chassis, and just really showcasing what our shops can do and, SEMA builds can be in the future with EV and making it fun.
Well, I'm thrilled. I mean, I all I can imagine, I haven't seen the truck, but I can only imagine what a factory redo on a resto mod electric would be, because the factory guys do it to the T, the way that it's supposed to be, the way that you're taught in college about how to do this stuff. And then you got all that experience, that history of Ford Motor Company. It's very exciting
And
to me.
the F-100 EV, it's got old style dog dish wheel covers on it, painted wheels.
Oh, yeah.
It looks very original to the vehicle, except it's got 634 foot-pounds of torque electric motor in it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep. Yep. So we do have 2 motors in it, so that gets it to that higher mile per hour, or the higher horsepower with that higher torque. So there are 2 motors in there. Yep, those wheels, they have that old classic kind of look, and then we have it in our classic Avalanche gray, which is a Ford Performance color that you can find on Raptor, Mustang, vehicles like that. And then we did a custom bronze trim all the way around with everything from custom headlights all the way around to custom taillights, and then that custom interior to kind of bring that retro mod. We did some plaid, and fun fact, it still has crank windows, so we did not fully redo everything. We kept things original.
We love that. Does it have the wing windows on the side for the passenger and driver?
Yes, absolutely.
Got to have it. Love it, love it, love it. Autumn, it's great to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. You're a delight to talk to, and very knowledgeable about the EV crate motor at Ford, and we hope to have you back on again soon. As soon as you get that controller, you be sure and make us your first call, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, and please let me know if you have any more questions. I'm so looking forward to working with you guys in the future.
Thank you very much, and you be sure and tell Mike Levine we said hi.
Absolutely, I will do.
All right, talk to you later.
Thank you.
Autumn Schwabe with the Ford Motor Company. All right, that's exciting stuff right there. All right, time now for this hour's car review. No, let's do the events calendar first, shall we?
Sure.
Did I mess you up there?
Yeah.
No.
Go, you hit the wrong button. Go one more button over, Conrad. There you go.
Okay.
All right, the events calendar. Lots of events.
Well, yeah, there's all kinds of stuff going on, over the next couple of weeks. Again, May 14th is the Arkansas Camaro Fest. Bring your mullet, and that's in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. The Beaumont Main Street Gala that we talked about earlier today. May 21st is the Space City Showdown 3.0 out at Houston Raceway Park. May 20th through the 22nd is Go Topless at Crystal Beach. May 21st is the Magnolia Days Festival Car Show, and that's at Milam Street in Columbus, Texas. So I don't know where Magnolia and Columbus, Texas come together, but that's in Columbus, Texas. Surfside Texas Beach Cruise is June 11th, and then the Wake and Scrape up in Huntsville on August 14th, 12th through the 14th.
Are they still injecting people up there at the Huntsville State Penitentiary? Or are they going to shoot them? You know, that was something from South Carolina news yesterday that apparently
The firing squad.
the firing squad.
Do you know they still hang people in Utah?
No, I did not know that. Just a side note, in case you'd want to know. Time now for this
not
hour's.
enough of them. I'm sorry. I didn't say that.
Exactly right. Time for this hour's car review. Mr. Mars had the chance to drive the Kia Sorento.
I always like driving the Kia Sorento because I can compare it to my wife's 2015. It's always nice to kind of see where things have gone.
Does your wife want this new one?
I was afraid that she would. There was the color, the orange interior. She wasn't a fan of that.
Well,
so fortunately,
okay. So
I don't have
not
to
that
deal with
particular one.
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah. So I kind of dodged the bullet on that. So this is a fourth generation of this vehicle, and it was introduced in 2021 as the fourth gen. It's a mid-size SUV, CUV, depending on where you look. A lot of people call it a small one, but it's kind of it's smaller than the Telluride, and you can see a lot of the Telluride influences in it. But it's I don't know. It's a mid-size as far as I'm concerned, and it comes in 6 different trim levels. 3 of them you can get the X-Line package on, which is one of the packages we had. So we had the X-Line SX Prestige all-wheel drive. All the trim levels can come in all-wheel drive or front-wheel drive. Your choice. So as I said, got a full redo in 2021. And we had the X-Line package. So we had the front and rear, some special fascia that went with that. We had LED lighting up at the headlights, taillights, fog lights. We had the 20-inch matte finish wheels, which I really kind of liked. Kind of, you get so much chrome and you kind of get something a little different. Had a panoramic sunroof on it, and it had the power liftgate. So it's got a lot of nice features on it. And again, it's bigger than the 2015 that my wife has, but it's not as big as the Telluride. And you get into the inside of it, leather interior. We had the second row, we had the captain's chairs. Now, these are sliding and folding captain's chairs. Made it a lot easier to get into that third row. The front row is heated and cooled. The second row is also heated because it's just the 2 and the outside ones. And the thing I really thought was really cool, there are USB chargers for all 3 rows, front, middle, and even the back row. So everybody's got a charger. They can charge all their stuff without fighting over anything. Up front, we had the 12.3-inch digital cluster. So we got lots of stuff up there for the driver to see, plenty of room to see everything that's going on. Had a 10.25-inch touch monitor in the center stack. Everybody's getting a little bit bigger there. Makes it a lot easier to find your convenience controls. We also had the Bose audio system, the premium audio system that was really nice. It kind of filled that place up really nice. And I really liked the fact that I could reach all the controls pretty easy. Everything was pretty within reach. The only complaint I had as far as the interior goes, there are a couple of dark spots at night. They need a little more lighting. I don't know if it's just because I'm getting older or maybe because I got to keep my eyes open.
It's all of those things.
All of those things. You had
cataracts.
We had 4 powertrains that are available in the sim. We had the 2.5-liter turbo engine that produced 311 pound-feet of torque. 8-speed transmission automatic, and again, we had the all-wheel drive. Now, the EPA says we should be looking for about 22 miles to the gallon in the city and out on the highway 27. Now, I drove this thing 417.8 miles the week I had it. I got 22.6, so I had a lot of highway time on there to kind of drive that up. And I really liked the nice power band on it. Now, again, it's got a very comfortable ride. In town, it seemed a little stiff to me, but I got out on the highway, and at speeds that I was going, it seemed all very, very functional.
What kind of speeds were you going, Mike?
Well, there was one time, I was going.
Speed limit.
Yeah, speed limit. That's
Liar.
it. I get close to the speed limit, okay?
On the way down.
The steering, the only other thing, the steering in town, to me, it felt a little detached. It's kind of like, am I really driving this thing? But out on the highway.
Because it was airborne at the time.
Well, no, that could be. That's that day that I was talking to you and I ran up on that highway patrol.
Yeah, I'm talking to him on the phone. He says, "Oh God." I said, "Well, what's happened?" Well, I just blew past DPS. I said, "How fast were you going?" Well, 80
something.
8. And he kept looking in the rearview mirror. I've slowed down now. I'm down to 75, but he doesn't have the red lights on, so I guess he must have been sleeping over there.
He was busy taking care of more important things than me.
Well, we can call Stephen Woodard and find out.
I will say, let's get back to this. So the base trim price on this vehicle was $43,090. And
That's not bad.
As tested was $45,120. So you get a lot of stuff when you're up there in that near top tier level.
Is this the one you were doing 88 miles an hour on the way over here?
Yes.
Busted.
If you get the base model, the stripper, it's $30,845. And even at that, you got quite a bit of stuff there. But it shows you the difference in where we were at the top versus the bottom. If you're looking at something to compare this to, you might look at the Volkswagen Tiguan. Starts at $26,400. Even Honda Passport, maybe, up around $31,870. Hyundai Santa Fe starts at $26,850. If you're looking for something in that small to medium size
race car SUV.
Well, David Ainsley's daughter is looking at one of these, and she's looking at the hybrid Sorento.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Should be a pretty cool little thing.
You know,
says she's gonna
I
order
have
it.
said all along, if you're in the market for a new car and you want to get on the electric car Bose platform,
Buzz?
so to speak,
Get a hybrid.
get yourself a hybrid.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you get the gas mileage,
Best of both worlds.
and you also get no angst when it comes to
Range anxiety.
Well, not only range anxiety, but just the charging and stuff, because we've had a lot of
God, it's
discussion
just-
about that the last couple of weeks.
I know we have, but I think that the hybrid is the bomb.
I think
Get it.
that's really should be the transition, and it's going to take a long time before you can really make that transition. The idea of saying, well, in 10 years, we're going to all be on full electric, that's bogus.
Well, you know, and the phrase hybrid, each manufacturer has their version of a hybrid.
Yes.
You know, some propel the vehicle, some power the vehicle. You
I
know,
know.
so the phrase of hybrid varies depending on the manufacturer as far as the
marriage
functionality of the
The
system.
marriage of gasoline and electricity. I have to tell you that I was on my way home last night, and I passed, no surprise, a Fiat 500. Remember those?
Yeah.
They fit in the bed of a pickup truck.
God.
Yeah.
I never liked that thing from the very beginning. I still don't like it today. And I
do
never
they still sell them? I think they still sell
I
them.
guess
They
they do. Who buys them? Why would you want one? You know, the mileage is okay, but it's not all that. I mean, you're not getting 100 miles to the gallon in that little thing. I'm being nice. Can you tell?
Well, but
My,
there's Fiat dealers, you know, up on the north side on
Yeah.
45 North.
Fiat builds a nice car, but not that.
Fiat Alfa Romeo, I think, is
Well,
the
there's none of them over in my part of the world, but yet people are still showing up. The guy I was telling you about before the show, his daughter has one.
The
She
In
just
Real
bought
Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family and available 24/7 at iHeart.com and through the iHeart app. Just look for the In Wheel Time Car Talk logo. We stream on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Heck, we're everywhere. In Real Time Car Show continues right after a quick break.
Get out the permanent marker and write on your wall calendar the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, Saturday, September 17th, 2022. It's the fall edition of Tailpipes and Tacos at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Loopy's chili pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rod, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's Tailpipes and Tacos Fall Edition, Saturday, September 17th. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there, too. Celebrate the beginning of fall and the return of the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, Saturday morning, September 17th, 8 to 11 a.m. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Want to take a minute to tell you about Gulf Coast Auto Shield, a Houston detail company like no other. Gulf Coast Auto Shield offers paint correction services that'll give your car, truck, or SUV a like-new shine. Afterwards, you'll want to protect it with a professionally installed nano-ceramic coating or protection film. Worried about your very expensive windshield getting damaged, broken, or cracked? Let Gulf Coast Auto Shield install Exo Shield, a windshield protection film. Give John Gray a call today or check out their website, gcautoshield.com. Hey, whether you own a new, ultra-expensive, exotic, or a 5-year-old Suburban, Gulf Coast Auto Shield will help keep your investment looking like the day it rolled off the assembly line. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is conveniently located on the South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of I-69, the Southwest Freeway. Meet the staff and check out all of their services online right now at gcautoshield.com. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk.
It is the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show on iHeartRadio, the place for weekly entertaining car talk. Just ahead, Tom Gattuso with Sema. Conrad has the popular This Week in Auto History, and we'll get you updated on the stories making car news this week. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin.
Yep.
I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this Saturday for our live broadcast, and if you're listening on the iHeartRadio app and happen to pick this particular show up, this show was recorded on March the 12th of 2022. Thanks for joining us today. And again, this is our debut on iHeartRadio.
God bless you.
Yeah, we've been kind of keeping it on the QT because we wanted to make sure that we didn't have some major hiccup that we always have every Saturday morning.
It was perfect this morning.
Yeah.
Went smooth as chunky peanut butter.
Guess what? We still have 29 minutes to go.
Don't jinx it.
Don't jinx it yet. 666.
Michigan giving General Motors.
Yeah.
The devil.
All right. Tom Gattuso is with Sema, and he joins us now. Tom, good morning to you.
Good morning. I'm honored to be on the debut of the iHeartRadio podcast.
Hey, absolutely.
That's why we chose you.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
You are the chosen one.
You are the chosen one. Unlike the $666 million that the state of Michigan is giving somebody.
General Motors.
General Motors. Well, what does that say? Anyway, you don't have to comment on that. Just sit there. You're good.
It's in rubles.
Yeah, that's it. So, Tom, let's talk about SEMA. Tell everybody that doesn't know about SEMA. What does SEMA stand for?
So it's the Specialty Equipment Market Association, and really it started as the Speed Equipment Manufacturers Association back in the 60s. And in order to do some of the legislative and regulatory things, we changed the name to Specialty Equipment Market. And really, it's performance products for cars, anything you'd want to have on your car, we've got at the SEMA show. It's a business-to-business event that really gathers the industry together once a year, and it's a phenomenal event.
But Tom, let's face facts now. Now, this is not one of those industry car shows where, Ma and Pa's got the little booth set up there. This thing is grown into an actual world event.
Oh, yeah.
And every custom car manufacturer begs to have one of their cars shown in some of the booths that are there, and I will tell you, it is truly stunning. Now, personally, I have not actually been to it live, but through all of the videos that I have seen and all of the car shows that I watch, What are you waving your hands about?
I've been.
Yeah, how many years ago was that?
Well, it's been a few years.
Well, it's grown considerably in the past few years.
And Tom, now you're taking up 3 venues, is that correct, or is it 4?
Conrad, we've got 5 halls, but it's the entire Las Vegas Convention Center campus. Yeah. So when you get down to it, and I don't like to think numbers because that helps me not sleep at night, but it's over 3 million square feet of space, and we have about 160,000, 170,000 people that attend. So when you look at it, it is a big event, but we try to focus on how to be the best event that people go to for their vertical part of the industry. And that's really where we center ourselves.
So do you have a special place for people like us besides jail?
Parking lot.
Now, they can't be in the parking lot because they got car events going on out there
they can't
now.
be in the parking lot. But I'm saying that, I've always had this vision of us doing our show from there. Now, granted, the show is much longer than our 3-hour show, but, we've been known to do special broadcasts every day of the week. And do you have other car shows that come out there and do shows from there?
We do. And when you talk about whether or not there's a place for you, the nice thing about the SEMA show is there's really a place for everybody. No matter what part of the industry you're in, we cater to that because we are really broad in terms of our overall reach. And then when you get down to podcasts and things like that, we do have a lot of that going on. And this year we're going to have a special area of the show, which I'd love to have you guys at, where we're going to designate an area for podcasts. So you have sort of a set and you've got a nice background. And
oh, wow.
You'll be able to get some energy from the crowd. It'd really be a great thing to have you out there.
Yeah,
Wow.
and you guys also have on display each of the manufacturers that are there showing their wares generally has a toy car for people to look at. A friend of ours, Randy Borcherding, that owns Paint House here in Houston, he's done a couple of cars that ended up in Battle of the Builders. He did a 56 Ford truck and a 70 Ford Ranchero. That I think was last year. And Randy, he's always associated with Griot's Garage. But those cars, some of them are stupendous builds that aren't necessarily seen anywhere but at SEMA.
Yeah, and that's really the story behind the story. We've got these builders who are really putting their heart and soul into it. The Battle of the Builders winner in 2020, it was a 9-year build. So when you think about how much blood, sweat, and tears went into that car, how many hours were into it, it's awesome to be able to see it. So I'm really lucky. I'm just the trade show guy at SEMA. So we build this environment and we let great companies like Griot's find the builders and really help magnify their brand and all the other companies that we've got there. But it all sort of comes together for this week, and it's magic. It's cars you don't see anywhere else in the world. It's this combination of people and conversations that happen that can't be matched anywhere.
Well, I have to tell you that I don't know about this particular year, but I know in years past that SEMA was always coupled up with the NHRA drag race out there at the Las Vegas Speedway, and I would assume that is still the case.
It is still the case. And the city of Las Vegas is big and it gets small all at the same time. So we're working together with the Las Vegas Speedway and how we can connect those two events together, because there's a lot of people that are out there for that race. And we have a special move-in on Monday for some of the cars that run on the strip on Sunday and need to be able to move into the show on Monday. We accommodate that, and it's really a cool part of the show.
And when does the show open? Does it open on Wednesday or Tuesday?
Yeah, we go Tuesday through Friday.
Yeah.
And it's really a 9 to 5 type of thing. But there's a lot going on before on Monday, and we have something we call the Monday reveal, which is kind of our version of the red carpet. So we get about 10 cars and we get some builders, and it's a what did you build type of thing, and what's going to be previewed this week. And then we end it with something that we call SEMA Ignited, which is a consumer event. And that's a great celebration of cars, and it's fed by the Sema Cruise. And the Sema Cruise is a parade of vehicles that come out of the SEMA show. There's about 1,000 or 1,200 cars that go in this designated route. We have 20,000 people that attend and watch, and you really get to see the coolest cars in the world go in this parade route into SEMA Ignited, and it's an awesome way to end 4 days of business.
Are they on trailers or are they driving them?
No, they're
driving.
driving.
They're driving.
Okay.
I was there the last time I was there. It was before they started the Ignited thing, so that tells you how long ago it was. But we were there whenever Friday evening, whenever they started bringing the cars out and stuff, and it was just, it was a big parade. It was great.
Yeah.
Now, when is this year's SEMA show?
This year's SEMA show is going to be the first week in November. So we're right in the Tuesday to Friday that first week, and moving in right there at the end of October.
So you, as the trade show manager, you're not the guy out there with the tape sizing everybody's booth, are you?
We're big and we're small at the same time. So I will say this:
Somebody's got to do it.
I'm moving in a lot of feature vehicles. We have teams of people that do everything, and I'm kind of the air traffic controller of a really talented group of operations professionals. But at the end of the day, when you want it perfect, and that's really what we're striving for. We want to be the best automotive event in the world. Everybody's out there putting their touch on it, and I really like parking the cars and figuring out how it's all going to look. So I do a lot more with tape and chalk than you would think. But
I was just joking. I didn't think you did any of them. I figured you'd pass that out to somebody else. But it's got to be
I think I could separate, but I can't.
But it's got to be a little bit like spinning plates, because you get a little something going here, a little something going there, a little something going here. Well, you got to get back to the first one and keep working your way around between the vendors, between the builders on display, between I'm going to say consumers walking through. They are consumers, but it's not a truly open to the public event.
Right. No, and that's where I say there's thousands of people that work on this show, and we have it all organized. So I've got operations directors and operations managers who really help put the nuts and the bolts of the show together. And it really comes down to the exhibitors.
Right.
They're worried about their little plot of land, but when you do that 2,500 times, the combination of all that is just magic. And one of my favorite show memories is walking into the show on Tuesday morning after we've been working to build it for 4 or 5 days. Tuesday morning at 6 a.m., it's dead quiet.
Yep.
It's perfect. And that is really the excitement I get for all the work we did leading into it, but what the next 4 or 5 days are going to be like.
Where is the organization Sema located?
So we're in Southern California, and I like to say we're in the middle of nowhere, but the center of everything. So we're in this city called Diamond Bar, which is east of Los Angeles, but we're kind of centrally located and have been there for a long, long time.
So I assume that probably some of that location choice is due to the beginning of NHRA and Pomona and all of that.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're right down the street from Pomona. And we're there, quite a bit. We'll be there coming up here soon too. Yeah,
no doubt. Okay, so it's just a hop, skip, and a jump to Las Vegas. Do you ever go and drive over to Las Vegas?
Yeah, I do. More times than I can count, probably.
And make a nice stop there in Palm Springs on the way.
No, Palm Springs is the other direction, but there's Barstow right there in the middle.
Barstow. There you go.
Riverside.
His grin got a little bit bigger.
Yeah, exactly.
Put 200 on black on the wheel for me.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So, all right. So it's the first weekend in November. It is the Specialty Equipment Marketing Association.
The Specialty Equipment Market Association.
Market Association.
Okay. We're the first week, so we're Tuesday through Friday that first week in November.
Gotcha.
So let me ask you. When you were talking about the time you spend on it, you were talking about the drag racers that can kind of move in on that Monday, and then the show opens on Tuesday. When do you start working and setting this stuff up?
I was working on the 2024 show yesterday. So we're years in advance because we have to figure out what the convention center is looking like and that type of thing. But our total time in Las Vegas is about 18 days, and we start moving it in 12 days before it really starts. So it's a process. You kind of limp in and get started, and then you start to walk, and then you really start to run. And by the time we get to the show, we're sprinting. But it's really cool from my perspective to see it all come together because so much work has gone into it from so many people and so many companies over a year and a 2-year period. And it just crescendos at this point. And it's hard to describe. And Mike, you've been, but we've got to get everybody else out there, but it's hard to describe the energy that happens because this is where the industry gets together and starts to catapult what the products and the sales and what the vehicles are going to look like for the next 3 to 5 years.
What company owns the largest piece of real estate at typical SEMA show?
So it comes down to some of the performance manufacturers and some of the OEMs. So I'd say right now, you're probably looking like at a Ford or a General Motors, but we certainly have Hunter Engineering, which is a tool and equipment, and
out of St. Louis.
Wheel Space. Truck Hero is another one. So, and it's not about its size as much as it is about presence. And what we found is that companies that are really big have a lot to say. So they have a lot of people working in there. But if you look at it as just one individual walking through the show and what your time management's like, when you walk into one of these booths, there's enough people in that booth where you're able to have a one-on-one conversation and get a lot of value out of it. So it's really, for us, you mentioned the mom and pop. We've got a lot of mom and pop manufacturers there who have developed a product in their garage and debut it at the SEMA show, and it transforms their business and changes their lives. There's a lot of that as well, and it's really interspersed everywhere. So I like to say your next bestseller is around the next corner, and it's really true, because as you walk through the SEMA show, there's new products everywhere, and it doesn't matter if it's a big company or a small company, they're all there.
So as big
That's
and
the thing,
massive,
they're all there.
as big and massive as Vegas is, and how many conventions Vegas endlessly does, is it simple to say that SEMA is its single largest event?
It's the single largest event at the convention center in most given years. But, you know, from a car standpoint, it's the most significant thing that happens in the automotive world on an annual basis. So
Totally agree.
We're lockstep with the convention center, and they're doing big things, and they're really helping us figure out how we can grow and continue to flourish. So even though our event's going to be, this is the 55th running of it.
Wow.
Wow.
We're still working with them to see how we can change it and make it better, and we're looking at things they're going to be doing with us for the future. So we're looking really to expand our business to business reach, but we're also offering things for enthusiasts. And it started with our Sema Cruise and then our Sema Ignited event. But through that, we had an opportunity for enthusiasts to be able to come to the show this year for the first time ever on Friday. And we called it the Friday Experience. And that's going to continue to expand. So I'd say that what we're seeing right now from a marketplace is we have this business to business interaction that we've always had. But now we're seeing the shift in the marketplace where it gets more enthusiast driven. And that, I think, is a healthy growth pattern for us. So we're going to be doing a lot of things over the next 10 years. And I'm really excited to be just a small part of it and watch how it's going to grow.
Well, we're thrilled to know you.
Yeah.
So you're our connection to SEMA, and we appreciate you taking the time today to talk to us out there on the West Coast. How does gas prices, by the way?
I can't talk about that right now because I'm saving money right now for my next tank. There's other states in the union that have got lower prices.
Well,
You're waiting to get approved for the loan.
low interest loan. Yeah.
Yeah, and talk to the governor of Michigan, and she'll send you at least $6.66, I'm sure. Tom, it's great to talk to you. Thanks so much for joining us today. Let's talk before the next show.
Yeah, I look forward to it. Thanks,
Yeah,
Tom.
yeah.
Thank you. Tom Gattuso with SEMA. That's pretty awesome. We'd love to hear from you, by the way. You can shoot us an email anytime. Our address here is info@inwheeltime.com. Time now for This Week in Auto History. And we always love the auto history thing. Mr. Conrad has that.
Well, this week we're going to go way back.
Way
in
back.
the Wayback
Way
Machine.
back.
Way back to 1658.
All right.
I remember it well.
In 1658, Antonio de la Mothe Le Sieur de Cadillac, a French explorer, found, I don't know why he was looking for it,
Cadillac, Michigan.
but he found
Yep.
the Detroit area.
Yep.
And it was named, Cadillac was named after him, and the Detroit area as well. So not too sure why anybody would want to find Detroit, but he did.
Hey.
And, you know, and today Detroit's known as Motor City. In 1887, Daimler built the Benson motor car carriage and had the first test run in Germany of Gottlieb Daimler's first four-wheeled vehicle. So that was back in 1887, which is a little bit earlier than a lot of people think.
I had hair like that.
And the bicycle wheels were very common in early cars because a lot of bicycle builders were the ones who were building cars. In 1902, the American Automobile Association was organized on this day, on this week. So AAA is older than Don.
Wow.
Great.
Thanks. Sure? Yeah, 1902.
It's one of the very few things on this earth.
In 1925, the first nationwide highway numbering system was instituted by the federal highway officials in order to minimize confusion, and different states had different looking signs. They adopted this look for not interstate highways, but highways that crossed multiple states. Because this, 1925 was before the interstate highway system of the red, white, and blue signs that Eisenhower brought in, but the early highway signs.
Highway Patrol.
Right.
With Roderick Crawford.
Yeah, I got a story about him.
And America got its kicks on Route 66 using this sign as it went from Chicago to Santa Monica, California. In 1947, Ferrari drove the first 125S vehicle out of the factory gates, and that 125 was kind of the kickoff of Ferrari. But also in 1929, the Los Angeles Car Show caught fire. And that was burned everything in the building, and one of the remaining vehicles has since been taken out of the fire, captured from the fire and restored, and has been shown at Pebble Beach. And it was the only one. It was the Auburn one of the Auburns that they have now since brought out to show. Mm-hmm. And then again in 1947, Ferrari released the 125. And if you think Ferrari and looking at the original Ferrari vehicle, this isn't what you think. Because to me, that 125 Ferrari looked a lot like an Austin Healey, but it was out before the Austin Healey. In 1973, Honda released the Honda Civic, was introduced to the United States. And if you remember the first Honda Civic with the CVCC engine in it, which was kind of the first evolution of variable valve timing way back in the day. And think about the timing of it. Honda released this in 1973. What else was going on in 1973?
Gas shortage.
The oil crisis of the 70s. We're having our own oil crisis with Bidenflation right now going on, and Honda hit a home run with this car. And Honda Civic is the second longest name plate from the Japanese domestic market. You know what the longest running name plate is?
Tell me.
Toyota Corolla.
Bicycle builder.
So Corolla's been around since 1968.
Huh.
And that is This Week in Auto History.
Okay. Got a couple of headlines that we want to get to before we close out today's show. A former dealership owner was sentenced to 6 years in federal prison on March 3rd after being found guilty of defrauding Toyota out of $4.3 million.
Wow.
Listen to this.
Stealing under warranty.
Court documents said James Pinson, took advantage of a Toyota customer support program that bought back trucks with excessive rust from customers for 150% of the Kelley Blue Book value. The program was only available to customers and not dealerships. Court documents state that between 2013 and 2015, Mr. Pinson bought 350 trucks at wholesale price at auction. He obtained,
I love it.
He obtained copies of random residents' driver's licenses and titled the vehicles in their names.
Oh, boy.
He took the trucks to Love Lexus Toyota in West Virginia and bribed the service manager and another employee in order to take advantage of the program, according to court documents. Love Lexus Toyota service manager Frank Russo, 69, was also sentenced the same day to 2 years in federal prison for wire fraud. Stanley Clark, who administered repurchases at Love Lexus Toyota, was sentenced to 15 months in prison last week, according to a press release from the Southern District of West Virginia U.S. Attorney's Office.
Both Russo and Pinson will be required to pay restitution of up to $4.3 million to Toyota, according to the press release. Pinson used the money he made through the scheme to purchase a beach house in South Carolina, which
Mars has a beach house.
which he will also be required to give up. Way to go.
Is that dollars or yen?
So, we've talked about
This guy must have been in politics or something at one time.
He learned how to work the system. We've talked about used car prices doubling. Well, the state of New York has filed lawsuits against a number of dealers who have been overcharging for lease turn-ins. You think about a lease, you have a guaranteed price at the end of the lease that you can buy the vehicle for. In today's market, that's a steal of a price on the lease for the residual value. So some of these dealers in New York were charging additional dealer fees, lemon law fees, a dealer adjustment, a cost of living adjustment fee, up to $7,000 to these people that were turning in their lease vehicles.
Wow.
And some of them are going to jail as well.
Jersey.
Former AutoNation CEO Mike Jackson collected more than $18 million in 2021 before he retired from AutoNation.
A deal.
A deal. Those kind of things really tick me off. So I spend my money at a car dealership, and part of that money is going to go to this jerkwad for $18 million. It's their company.
There's also a class action lawsuit against AutoNation about vehicle protection plans.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, but
you know who now is head of AutoNation?
Yes.
Mike Manley, the former CEO at what is now Stellantis, but used to be FCA.
When I worked for AutoNation, I worked for a gentleman by the name of Jeff Dyke, and he moved up the ladder quite quickly to high levels.
And it's not just AutoNation. I mean, all those corporate CEOs,
they're
all
Sonic,
multi-million dollar ones.
There's a zillion of them.
And you sit there and wonder, what are they doing
to
make that kind of money?
Yeah.
Well,
and why would the board of directors say, "Oh, okay, well, if you do this, we'll give you this, millions and millions and millions of dollars." Mm-hmm. All that does is add to the ugliness of it all, because we read stories like this and go, wait just a minute,
heck?
that's not fair.
That ain't right.
Well, it's a matter of
it's bad PR. I
understand that you need to pay somebody a little bit extra to get them to step in, and you want that kind of talent, but that kind of extra, I mean, you can buy a whole lot for a whole lot less.
Look at new vehicle manufacturers. Mary Barrow, what did she get? $25 million in 2020. So it's not just at the dealer level, it's also at the manufacturer level, the amount of money that's paid to some of these people.
They could get all four of us for that.
They didn't give me anything but the shaft.
Oh, boy.
But it was expensive.
It was a setup.
Camshaft or the drive shaft. All right, time now for a quick break. We'll be right back. You're on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show on iHeartRadio. Get out the permanent marker and write on your wall calendar the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, Saturday, September 17th, 2022. It's the fall edition of Tailpipes and Tacos at the Lupi Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Lupi's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise in, and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Lupi Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Lupi trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's Tailpipes and Tacos Fall Edition, Saturday, September 17th. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there, too. Celebrate the beginning of fall and the return of the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, Saturday morning, September 17th, 8 to 11 a.m. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Want to take a minute to tell you about Gulf Coast Auto Shield, a Houston detail company like no other. Gulf Coast Auto Shield offers paint correction services that'll give your car, truck, or SUV a like-new shine. Afterwards, you'll want to protect it with a professionally installed nano-ceramic coating or protection film. Worried about your very expensive windshield getting damaged, broken, or cracked? Let Gulf Coast Auto Shield install Exo Shield, a windshield protection film. Give John Gray a call today or check out their website, gcautoshield.com. Hey, whether you own a new, ultra-expensive, exotic, or a 5-year-old Suburban, Gulf Coast Auto Shield will help keep your investment looking like the day it rolled off the assembly line. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is conveniently located on the South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of I-69, the Southwest Freeway. Meet the staff and check out all of their services online right now at gcautoshield.com. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk.
It's In Wheel Time, your place to go for entertaining car talk. Coming up, NHRA top fuel driver Antron Brown joins us to talk about being a new team owner. Woohoo! And the upcoming professional drag racing season. We need more. Jeff reviews our pre-owned car of the week this hour, the 2019 Kia Soul. Later, Conrad has the car clinic, and we'll also have the stories making auto news headlines this week. Just ahead of this edition of the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong, Jeffrey Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad that you could join us today, as we are every Saturday. How are you doing over there, Mars?
I'm working on it. He's coming in.
Is he?
Yes, sir.
Hey, we're dialing him in as we speak. We're tuning him up and getting ready to go with Antron. Because I have some questions. I have lots of questions always, but I have particular questions.
Leave on yellow.
Because we haven't spoken. Pardon me?
Here he is.
Oh, okay. Antron.
How's everybody doing?
Awesome.
Where in the hell are you? I mean, you're talking to us from Mars?
No, I'm not in Mars at all, but let me, can you guys hear me okay?
Well, it's a little fuzzy, but, that's okay.
We're good.
Yeah. So he's going to switch something around.
Oh, boy.
We locked you in.
Oh, boy.
No, there he is. There he
got
is.
me now, don't
Now that's
Yeah,
much
it's
better.
much better.
Much better. How have you been?
you? Man, I've been
Busy?
good. It's been real good.
Yeah, busy, I'll bet.
It's been nonstop. We've been photo shoots, putting trailers together, putting race cars together, putting sponsorships agreements together. We've been busy full circle, but you know what? It is coming together, and I'm liking it. I'm loving it. And I'm truly blessed with the group of people that we have here at AB Motorsports.
Yes, AB Motorsports that has a new sponsor this year.
We got a few new sponsors. We do. We have a big new sponsor this year, and our big new sponsor that we just came on board with is Lucas Oil.
And I was very I had to do a double take when I saw Brandon Bernstein. Is he working for Lucas's?
Brandon is the director of all partnerships. So Brandon,
how cool.
Brandon is up there once where he used to acquire the sponsorship. Now he's the one you got to go get one through.
He's jumped the fence.
Well,
Yeah.
I will say this.
Ain't no wool over Brandon's eyes, trust me. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
well, look who his teacher has been, Kenny Bernstein.
Oh, yeah.
So we all know Kenny, and great guy, and I hope that everybody's doing well up there. But I was really surprised and nicely surprised that Brandon Bernstein is your go-to guy at Lucas Oil and your new sponsorship. The other thing too, I was kind of surprised at, you guys have a working alliance with Justin Ashley's team.
Yes, we do. And with Justin Ashley Racing and Davis Racing, it's been a little while coming, but we formulated together because now, in the atmosphere you have now with supply and demand, the supply structure is down.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because can't find people to make this. You can't get materials because they can't make the materials. Stuff like that. And then, so to actually help us both out by joining up forces and collaborating on a few things, we're able to order parts and pieces and get a discounted rate. And we're able to work on different things together. Justin Ashley also is a part of the Toyota family also too now, and also he's part of the Lucas Oil family. So we have a lot of the same, like, partners and stuff on different arenas, and we're able to help out. And we're able to help out on the racetrack too, where you're going against these teams that got 2 cars, 3 cars. Like, you got to go against Steve Torrance, who's the champ. Well, he's got his dad's car, Billy Torrance, that runs
data.
Phenomenal. He's got Trip Tatum's car that they help out, runs incredibly well. He helps out Scott Palmer. They've got like 4 cars over there that can win races. And then you go over on the other side of it. Now you're going to have, on Force side, you have Brittany Force with Austin Prock. They're going to have 2 cars. So you got to find a good stablemate that you can team up with so you can actually help each other out to push each other forward. You know what I mean? It's like one of those deals, you just can't do it by yourself. You got to have that sidekick with you.
Well,
you know what I mean? And
gotta have a wingman.
That's right. Maverick had Goose.
And with 2 cars, you double the data and you double the testing opportunities that you have as well. So all of that's what makes you better.
Absolutely. And they're just a great group of people over there. You got Justin Ashley also, but you got Mike Green over there with Dustin Davis, Tom DeLago. Their whole crew over there just men's really good with our crew and people. And then Justin's dad, Mike Ashley, I mean, you don't get more of a optimistic and person than Mike that can actually have you believe in things that you can't even believe in yourself. He's like, you guys can do this. You know what I mean? So when you bring all this nucleus together and you're able to lean on one another and push each other to new heights, that's when you have the unbelievable things happening.
So are you guys going to be pitting together as well, back to back anyway?
Oh, absolutely. We're actually going to have the Lucas Oil Macro Tools hospitality area.
Yeah.
And Justin will be on one side of it, and I'll be on the other side of it.
That's perfect. So when we get invited over there, the In-Wheel Time team of the Lucas Oil hospitality tent, then we have the best of both worlds over there, right?
Oh, absolutely. You get a little bit of everything. You see some of our Matco guests or Lucas Oil guests, and then you got Justin on his side with the Phillips Connects. And we have some other people that are part of there, Hanksifers and all the rest of our guys, Toyota. I mean, we got everybody over there that's going to really help out. And we're doing this all together. It's all about being together.
And one of the cool things I saw, because I follow you on Facebook, that you now have the Antron Brown Motorsports VIP hospitality experience. So, as you guys are so available to the population of people, as fans that are walking around the pits, but there's always that little bitty fenced off part that you guys live in that you look for space to escape to. Well, now you're inviting some of the fans to join in that hospitality experience this year.
We want to change things up a lot. You know what I mean? Because for me, I remember coming up in this sport, being on the outside looking in. And every fan is not a fan, they're a teammate. You know what I mean? If they're there to cheer you on, support you, we just want to make it open where they're able to come in and be a part of the special group with like all of our Matco distributors, all of our Matco customers, all of our Lucas Oil customers, our Hanksifers customers, our Toyota customers, our Sirius XM radio customers. And if we can make them be a part of that group, you know what I mean? Because they're a part of us when they're up in the stands cheering us on. We want to give them that extra, that little bit of extra, something that, like when I was young, I wanted to be in that group.
That lifetime memory. That life,
and now
that lifetime memory.
And now you're going to have the In-Wheel Time group.
And you mentioned something at the outset about teamwork and relying on each other. We do that here every week.
God.
We rely on each other all the time.
That's right. Well, boxing gloves and all.
Speaking about the importance of a 2-car team, Anson and Adler, are they going to be a 2-car team as they play in Junior Dragsters again this year?
they're always been a 2-car team, and they got to help each other out, and they do. And even though they like to fight every once in a while, just like all siblings do, you know what I mean? But that brings the best out of them. But Adler's going to have to enjoy this last year with his brother. He got his big brother Anson. This is last year racing junior dragster. So my son Anson's going to big cars.
All right.
And we're going to have some fun with that also. And we're going to have to find some fields that we can go to that they both can race.
That's
so
cool.
It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of different deals going on, but we'll still have some fun at the junior dragster racing deal with Adler. And Anson is going to big car racing. So it's going to definitely change the whole dynamic of the Brown family, because I don't know how I'm going to be in 2 different racetracks at the same time when they both got to race.
And a bigger trailer.
We got the right size trailer. I did that in the beginning. I bought it once, so I don't have to buy it twice.
Well, I was looking at you were like a little kid opening up a gift at Christmas as your new trailer arrived, and you kind of gave a bit of a tour of the new trailer.
Opening the shelves and all the doors and
showing the clutch closet.
yeah.
He was looking for space to put the Wallies in.
He needs lots of space.
All I can tell you is that's the first Christmas gift that I ever got. That is the gift that keeps giving. It keeps giving me bills.
That's exactly right.
Because you got to fill it up with stuff.
Mm-hmm. Are you still associated with Don Schumacher Racing in some way?
Yeah, like we actually are renting space from DSM, Don Schumacher DS Manufacturing, and we're actually getting our chassis still built at DSR, and we're still buying parts and pieces from DSM, cylinder heads, different components, and like they're like a one-stop shop up there. So
well, why not go to
really
the best?
That way. I've been working really hands-on with Chad Oser, who's a son-in-law, who's the president of DSM, and I tell you what, it's good to see somebody fresh coming in, because he is like a breath of fresh air there. He's got a lot of energy. He's vibrant. And he's there to give you what you need. And Matt Archer, who's on the other side of it with Dave Fletcher. I'm thinking about Dan Fletcher the racer, but Dave Fletcher, who's running the parts and pieces room. I mean, they've been spot on, man. Everything that you need, they're communicating, which it's awesome when you get communication. That's the whole thing that people don't understand. When you get somebody that can communicate well with you, where you're at, what's going on, what's coming in, what's happening. That's been a breath of fresh air for us to be able to get the parts and pieces. And we've been working with other vendors out there like Dart Sleeves, Diamond Pistons, and Belfani, and also Custom Floaters. We've been working with a lot of people out there in industry, Electric Motion, to bring the parts and pieces, developing those relationships with Pack Springs, Victory Valves. I mean, I've been dealing with people before, but now I'm dealing with them on a
different
first
level.
name basis, building relationships, and also CNC Performance, who builds our clutches. It's been amazing to develop these relationships and see how much we can actually grow throughout these new years that we got coming in.
So what do you see for yourself and the team coming forward into the 22 season in Pomona?
Man, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to smile when we just show up at Pomona. Because of all the stuff that we have to put together, we started not from ground zero. We bought a lot of our race parts and pieces in our current chassis that we were already running from DSR, but we literally rebuilt our cars from the ground up. We rewired them, rebuilt them, new dashes, different roll cages, new bodies on them. So our race cars had a facelift, and then we've got new parts and pieces we're bringing in. Then we're building, we had to put the trailer together, get everything in there so we can show up at the first race for everything to work. So with that being said, it's all coming together. It's all coming together.
A lot of learning.
So does your PR
when
guy
we show up at Pomona, that means everything's might not be finished. But we can get to the racetrack.
It's in the trailer and headed to the track.
They're letting them in the gate.
Yeah. So have you got your hard cards for 2022 yet?
Yes, all the app we haven't got. We don't get them till we show up at Pomona.
Got it.
So when we show up there, we will have them because all of our applications been turned in and everything's ready to go.
Wow. Hey, at least you got that far. So they won't let you in the gate because you did. Oh, I'm sorry, we forgot to register for this race. We don't have that problem.
We are the first ones on the list registered.
Okay.
We are on that list. Well, and you know what? My crew guys got crew pants. They got polos. They got belts.
Dressed for success.
They're going to be able to dress for success, but I just don't know how we quite getting there yet, but we're going to get there.
Well, yeah, that and once you get there, you probably might be sleeping in the brand new trailer that you've got that's made for parts and pieces.
Hey, let me tell you something. When that trailer came in, I had my arm around my wife. And then when I had my arm around my wife, as those trailers pulled in, my wife goes, "Baby, the start of the race team is here." I said, "I know, baby." I said, "Baby, I sure hope you like that trailer." She looked at me. She goes, "It's nice." I said, "Well, baby, we might be living in it in a couple of months."
That's right.
Because I'll tell you, I know how much those trailers are. Ooh, ow. It is unbelievable.
And that's empty. Wait till you put the car and all the parts in it.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. And those 5 engines and everything else. So with this this marriage that you have with the Ashley team, does that include engines as well? I mean, if you blow up a couple of engines and you're short of parts, are you going to go next door and grab some?
Well, that's what we're there for. We're there to help each other out. And whatever they need to get by to the next race, if we can help support them and they can help support us, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
There you go.
And that's what teammates is all about. We'll work out the parts and piece stuff later. They'll keep making more, but as long as that we can help each other maintain and get through, that's what it all boils down to.
Well, we're really excited for you. I mean, we were excited for you when you made the announcement last year here in Houston, and we're hoping that we're going to grab another interview with you, whether it's through the Toyota guy or you personally, to get you back on the show the weekend of April 22nd here in Houston.
Hey, I can't wait to come back there, and I'm kind of sad because I don't want to see Houston go. That's one of my favorite racetracks to go to. So,
amen. We agree.
This might be the last year, but maybe somebody down there in Houston can actually make another race facility, or maybe they could build a new one. I mean, that's definitely a market we love going to, and is rich in racing history for sure.
Well, I will tell you that if you're not going to be here in Houston, we're coming to Dallas because that's the closest we got.
Come on, you'll. Hey, Dallas is a really nice facility too, and it's crunch time. We go to Dallas, so you will not be disappointed when you come to Dallas for sure.
Well, we're going to try to make that happen. Antron, it's great to talk to you, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anytime. Well, it's great being on. I appreciate you, fellas. And hey, we're going to be in Pomona, and we'll be down there in Houston.
You stay warm up there in Indy.
Will do.
All right, man. Talk to you soon.
Thanks.
Take care.
Bye-bye. So much fun.
It is.
I've got his Facebook and his website up on our page.
Cool.
Just if people want to connect, and it's a worthwhile connection because it. Like I said, I follow Antron on Facebook, and some of the stuff he puts up is hilarious. Some of it's very straight and informative, but some of it's hilarious.
Yeah, and he puts up a surprising amount of material that goes up there about their progress and what they're doing.
I first met him when he was riding pro stock motorcycles. He was the same today as he was 15 years ago when I met him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just as calm and straight across and as fun to be with, and very engaging guy. And what a great communicator with NHRA. I mean, you want an interview, go to Antron.
Yes.
And he always tells you like it is, but in a nice way.
And he's always smiling.
Yep.
He's one of these guys. He's always having fun, or he's enjoying doing whatever he's doing at the moment.
And very well respected in the industry of motorsports,
Yep.
Beyond just NHRA. And that's pretty cool. And I think some of that's probably the way he treats people because,
There's another guy that is on the same level, but not quite as popular as Antron, and that would be Sean Langdon. Great guy. I've known him. Well, I met him through Stan, and he was just the same then as he is today. So there are those guys that their ego hasn't gotten so big that you can't approach them.
It's refreshing and nice to know. Okay. Hey, if you'd like to get in touch with us, our email address is, if it works, info@inwheeltime.com. Time now for the racing calendar, speaking of racing.
Well, speaking of racing, first thing coming up is going to be the 24 Hours of Daytona, and that is going to be January 30th. They're doing the Roar at the 24 right now, which is kind of the week before testing. So that's IMSA with the Cadillac prototypes.
Oh, yeah.
The Corvette. Now Corvette has changed classes, and they're running GTD Pro. They're no longer GTLM because that classification has gone away. So now they're running GTD Pro, which is a GT3 car. So in the class, they're running against the Ferraris, the Lamborghinis, the Porsches.
Did they have to do anything to the car?
Yeah, they had to make some changes to the car. One of the things, the good things about it is now I think they added ABS. I don't think they had ABS at GTLM.
Really?
So they added.
I can't imagine. Why would they have ABS?
Because it makes life easier.
Well, I know, but I mean that's part of driving skills.
Is controlling the brakes.
Yeah. Hello.
So again, that's going to be next weekend is the first event, and then coming shortly thereafter is the Daytona Clash at the L.A. Coliseum. They built a track inside the L.A. Coliseum.
How is that
That's February.
work?
I have no idea.
Nothing's
We'll see how
working.
it
How
works.
long is it? Is it like a quarter mile?
No, I
Let's
think it's
throw some dirt on
3/8.
there.
I think it's 3/8.
Yeah.
It's asphalt though.
It's going to be a banger.
It's no, it's not asphalt.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah. It's not like what they did at Bristol when they brought all the dirt in. They laid asphalt for this.
Oh my God.
And then the 12th, which is the Thursday, dual qualifying races at Daytona. And then on the 14th is going to be the Daytona 500.
What is it? A flat track?
No, it's got a little bit of banking
at
in
the
it.
Coliseum.
It's got a little bit of banking in it.
Really?
NHRA kicks off on February 17th through the 20th at the Winter Nationals for Pomona. Join in and cheer on Antron Brown because that's going to be a fun...
You ever been to Pomona?
No.
It's a very interesting place. It's at the
airport, isn't it?
No, Los Angeles County Fairgrounds. And
But there's an airport real close.
there's an airport at the end of the runway. Yeah.
That's pretty close, Tom.
It is pretty close. Anyway, yeah, Pomona, it's a special place. If you ever make it to L.A., the couple of things you need to do is to go to the Peterson Collection.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you need to go to Pomona. Because even if there's not a race at Pomona, you got to go to the museum, which is there, which is Art Deco building from, back in the day when
It's like
Pomona,
the Guggenheim in New York.
pretty much.
And
Yeah.
then Formula One doesn't start until March.
Thank God.
IndyCar starts February 21st in St. Petersburg.
I heard Hamilton won
Florida.
already.
Oh God, yeah.
I heard
Broadway.
he's going to retire.
Thank God.
So that's the racing calendar.
Thank you, sir. Pre-owned car of the week. Mr. Jeffrey Zekin has a review of the 2019 Kia Soul. Used car prices are up 37%, leading inflation, even more so than the price of a gallon of gasoline. So I'm hoping that we can get us a deal on a 2019 Kia Soul.
Me too. When the Kia Soul was debuted, this is 2019, like it says, almost a decade ago, it defined convention of classification. It occupied an odd middle ground between hatchbacks and crossovers. The SUV didn't really exist at the time. Fast forward to today, the subcompact crossover class not only exists, but it's growing in popularity with car companies scrambling to fill the void. It's a good-looking little front end of that vehicle. It was voted the best small SUV and the cheapest car back in 2019 as well. Base trim prices on these things, or base trim, comes with a standard, because there's different levels. Standard with a 1.6-liter four-cylinder, 130 horsepower at 118 cubic feet of torque, 16-inch alloy wheels, automatic headlights, so on and so on, Bluetooth, 5-inch touchscreen mic. That's important to know because as we get into the next one, which is the Soul Plus, it includes the convenience package, which is the contents about a 2-liter four-cylinder engine, 161 and 150 on the torque. 6-speed automatic transmission, 17-inch wheels, fog lamps, heated seats, heated mirrors. so that they're adding some more amenities into the vehicle. The Soul Exclaim, I've never heard of this one, but I had to read up on it, adds a 1.6-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, 201 horsepower to 195.
They had that in the press fleet.
Yep.
And you and I had that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love this car.
7-speed dual clutch automatic transmission, 18-inch wheels, upgraded the trim. With the Plus, you get an 8-inch touchscreen, Mike. So you go from a 5-inch to an 8-inch, which is a pretty big increase.
Wow,
than the
yeah, I'll
dash.
say.
Size don't matter.
Anytime you go from 5 to 8 inches, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
We've lost control.
Yep. A Harman Kardon premium sound system, designer collection, 18-inch wheels. So as you get into the higher portions,
Levels.
higher levels, you get bigger wheels. Trim, like we talked about, you've got different trim levels. Obviously, the Kia Soul Exclaim with the 1.6 7-speed dual clutch automatic. All these are front-wheel drive vehicles. The comfort side of it, it's a little bit stiffer, ride stiff, and blame the big wheels, they're saying. So as you increase with the trim levels and you get the bigger wheels, you get a
My
stiffer
recollection of that car is it rides great.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great car. Every time I've ever
remember
been
when you
in
had
one,
that, you
I
bragged
love
about
those
it.
Yeah.
cars. I always have.
I know some people that have got them and they love them. They sell one and buy another one.
Well, and it's handy. It's an SUV, a small one, but you fold down the back seats and you're going, look at all the room I got back
it's only
here.
two of you in particular.
Yeah, and on the interior, there's a lot of plastic. That's one of the only downsides that they talk about. But in a small
yeah.
car like that, you
You haven't
Look at the
gotten to
price
the
point.
price yet.
Yeah, right. I haven't. It's a box-shaped utility vehicle. Technology is all you get all the technology, the Apple CarPlay and Android systems and things of that nature. It has, obviously the variations of different horsepower, and you want the price. Let me turn the page to the magic price. Let's all get into our in-wheel time decoder rings. So for 2019, based on mileage and condition, you're anywhere from $14,300 to $24,000.
No.
No, that's
used.
Pre-owned.
That's what it would cost
It's a used
now
car.
today to buy that 19.
I'm going to say in 2019 that the 24 may not have
Yeah.
been far from what its price
Exactly.
was new.
But
I think when it was new, it was about 20.
Yeah.
Now, not the Extreme, because they bumped that up. That was the top of the line at the time.
That's
Yes.
what this is.
But my point is, this car is still holding a clean car with fair mileage on it. Is still holding a very high resale value.
The nice thing
in
about
today's world.
the nice thing about those cars, well, people bought them when they were new. Generally, have kept them this long, and it's usually a one owner and somebody that's not going to hot rod it or tear it up. It's just
Right.
it's a everyday commuter car. Get it?
Yeah, and they're a younger crowd too at the time. They were
Generally speaking,
exactly.
and they appeal.
3
to
years
that
ago,
crowd.
everybody was younger.
Yeah.
Well, except for Don.
I don't think
But
I was ever younger. I wish I were.
So that's it for the 2019 Kia Soul. Get
Cool
some.
car. Very cool car.
Mr. Soul.
I was invited to the 1971 Westbury High School graduating class.
I thought it was 1871.
1871. And I went last night as a guest, and it was an interesting time.
You had fun?
I did have fun.
Good.
Did you bring your own oxygen?
No, they had
We were talking
they had
about
a dispensary there.
I was talking to them about that at the table. We're going, somebody had mentioned to me the other day it's going to be kind of like a challenge of wheelchairs, isn't it?
Walkers.
They start playing basketball in the wheelchair basketball
Oh,
game.
boy.
That's what they do for
I
entertainment.
said if the temperature gets any colder, we're going to have to put some sort of cleats on those walkers
Oh, gosh.
so we don't slip in the parking
Take the
lot.
kids.
Take the tennis balls off.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Jeez,
So were you the
Instead of
guest of
having-
honor?
I was not the guest of honor. Why do you always put me up
Instead
there
of, having a
like
liquor,
that?
instead of having a liquor bar, they got an oxygen bar there. Like at the airports.
Different flavors.
That's right. That's the second booth. The first one is the pot booth.
Do you need New Jersey air or you want LA air? You
Yeah,
just
yeah.
Flick back and forth.
Well, I guess it's time to move on, isn't it?
Yeah.
Quickly.
Michael's waiting on us, so
Okay. Well, we won't keep him waiting
Well,
much
he
longer.
knows what we're talking about.
yeah.
All right. Hey, you're on the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Thanks for joining us. We got more.
Prominent marker and right on your wall calendar, the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, Saturday, September 17th, 2022. It's the fall edition of Tailpipes and Tacos at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Loopy's chili pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for best hot rod, best class classic or best modern classic, Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rod, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's Tailpipes and Tacos Fall Edition, Saturday, September 17th. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the beginning of fall and the return of the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, Saturday morning, September 17th, 8 to 11 a.m. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Want to take a minute to tell you about Gulf Coast Auto Shield, a Houston detail company like no other. Gulf Coast Auto Shield offers paint correction services that'll give your car, truck, or SUV a like-new shine. Afterwards, you'll want to protect it with a professionally installed nano-ceramic coating or protection film. Worried about your very expensive windshield getting damaged, broken, or cracked? Let Gulf Coast Auto Shield install ExoShield, a windshield protection film. Give John Gray a call today or check out their website, gcautoshield.com. Hey, whether you own a new, ultra-expensive, exotic, or a 5-year-old Suburban, Gulf Coast Auto Shield will help keep your investment looking like the day it rolled off the assembly line. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is conveniently located on the South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of I-69, the Southwest Freeway. Meet the staff and check out all of their services online right now at gcautoshield.com. The In Real Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Real Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InRealTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Real Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Real Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Real Time Car Talk. Welcome to the In Real Time Car Talk Show on iHeartRadio. Coming up, Lisa Whalen on what it takes to move to EVs. Had a chance to drive the Ford Expedition. I'll give you my thoughts on it. We'll also have the cruise-in calendar, and later, Conrad has This Week in Auto History. Just ahead in this hour of the In Real Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with David Ainsley, our chief engineer and head potentate of something. King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad that you could join us this Saturday, and thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate that. Our next guest this morning is going to be a lady by the name of Lisa Whalen. Lisa, good morning to you, and thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning. My pleasure.
So Lisa is the managing director of a company called Morning Consult. I guess that's the way you pronounce it. That's the way I pronounce it anyway. It's a company that does automotive and mobility analysis. Oh, my God. You know, it was one of those classes in school. They're going, I don't want to be here. I don't know anything about this. You are in a certain area that it's like, oh, how does she do what she does? How do you do research and insight into the automotive mobility and transportation business? How does that work? Who came up with this?
Great question. Well, I'm lucky enough to live in quite a sandbox of great, rich consumer data. We pulse consumers every single day on their attitudes and behaviors around a number of different industries, and I'm lucky enough to be able to focus on automotive and mobility.
Oh, my God. Well, I'm glad that you haven't pulsed me, because I'd be nervous about what I would say to you. What kind of questions do you ask people?
Well, first of all, let me assure you there are no wrong answers in our
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, of course. And we ask consumers everything from, what's going on with the vehicle they own currently, where do they park it? Did they finance it, lease it, or pay cash for it? We also look at what they're intending to purchase, when, what factors are really important in that purchase decision. And we love to pulse consumers on their attitudes and feelings about future technologies such as electric vehicles and autonomous driving.
Well, right now, with the automotive market the way that it is, and consumers going crazy with gasoline prices and what kind of car to buy, do I buy new, do I buy used, do I have to buy right now? All of these things. I mean, it's almost like kind of like going to your psychoanalyst.
That's absolutely right. Especially coming off the last couple of years of the pandemic, it has been so volatile for the automotive industry with the supply chain crisis, restraining chips into vehicles. So there just hasn't been a lot of availability. Pricing has been really high. Consumers have been forced to hang on to their wheels and trying to wring out extra miles and really delay that purchase decision. So a lot of folks were hoping coming into 2022 that things were going to start to abate in the automotive industry. Prices might come down, selection would come up, there would be a lot of choice and just a big revenge purchase cycle for consumers. Unfortunately, with the geopolitical crisis happening in Russia and Ukraine, we had yet another strain on the global supply chain and as well the automotive industry for consumers.
What's the number one thing that you're finding right now among consumers?
The number one thing is the concern about gas prices. It's affecting so many different aspects of their lives. It's really fascinating to ask customers whether or not they've reduced their driving in the past month due to high gas prices. We've seen a lot of that happening, particularly with younger consumers, and that's a concern. They've also looked to alternate ways to move around, such as walking, biking, taking the subway versus personal transportation. So there's been a lot of activity under the surface in response to high gas prices. And of course, there's been so much more interest in electric vehicles as a result.
Well, and that's going to be my next question. Everybody thinks, okay, well, I'm just going to go to an electric vehicle. I'll bite the bullet and I'll spend the money to do an electric vehicle. But I guess the one factor that I don't think a lot of people think of is the fact that you're going to have to pay for the electricity that goes into that vehicle. I know that most people here in the Houston, Texas, because of our air conditioning in particular, you'll sign a contract with a power provider and be locked in for a year.
Depending on how much power you buy. So if you buy an electric car and now all of a sudden you're buying more power, you go into a different pay plan and all of a sudden your electric bill goes from $300 a month to $900 a month.
Yeah. And so from analysis that we have actually discovered on this show from various people, that when you compare a gasoline-powered vehicle compared to an electric vehicle, for the most part, an electric vehicle comes out being more expensive to operate than a gasoline vehicle. But now we're talking about some information that we received over a month ago. And a month ago, gasoline prices were much cheaper. So I'm not exactly sure how that's balancing out now. Do you know?
Well, absolutely. It just goes to the point that nothing in life is free. Unfortunately, EVs aren't necessarily the best trade-off in terms of cost of ownership for a vehicle. And no, gas prices have not gone down in any significant amount in order to make that cost equation look better for gas-powered vehicles. But at the same time, they're not moving down enough to make EVs like a very obvious choice when you look at the total cost of ownership, let alone the ability to find charging access, range anxiety, and all of the other issues that consumers report around their reticence to buy an electric vehicle.
And range anxiety tends to be a little more regional. A person of range anxiety in Houston, it's 100 miles across the city, may be different than the range anxiety of somebody that lives in San Francisco, which, they're maybe only doing 10 miles a day, maybe 18 hours to go 10 miles, but they're not doing the mileage.
Or other factions to get around.
Right.
They got, the trolleys and the subs and all that, yeah.
Yes. Or they're commutes or their routes are very predictable. So they know where to get charging. It's not a big question mark for them. And you're absolutely right. We look at consumers in rural areas versus suburban and urban, and absolutely more range anxiety comes out amongst rural consumers and even suburban consumers, because again, looking at predictability versus the chaotic nature of your normal routine when you're moving around. It's hard to predict always where you're going to find a charging station and whether or not you're going to be close to out of charge. So there's a lot of anxiety across most of the country from a range perspective.
And what do you do? I'm going to ask this. How do you guys monetize the data you collect? Do you sell it to auto manufacturers, dealerships, media? Somehow in what you do, there's a monetization feature to it.
Yeah, fair enough. The devil's in the details, I would say. We have so much data, but it's really about what do you do with the data? What types of insights can you draw across such high frequency data? And we have just massive amounts of information. But the value really is in the insights. And so our customers, our clients from across industries really not only value us for the data that we produce, but it's really drawing those insights and having those consistent interactive dialogues with our clients on what does that all mean.
So it's more business to business, not business to consumer data that you're providing.
Well, we do provide the end consumer data to the businesses. So it does help them in terms of their marketing strategies, messaging, as they're building their products, how to best, target consumers, their needs and wants and desires and things like that. So at the end of the day, it's all about the end consumer, what our clients are trying to improve when they work with us.
So the clients can isolate the information they want to gather for their need.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can be as surgical as we want to.
What is the most often asked question of you? What category? What is it that your consumers, if you will, of your data, what are they wanting to know most of?
In the automotive and mobility industry, it's definitely about when are electric vehicles going to be really desirable to a broad number of consumers? When is that inflection point that the mass market is really going to adopt and want to purchase electric vehicles?
And at $5 a gallon, are you starting to see that, or has it really not turned a corner yet where you can see a trend line developing?
Well, interest amongst consumers has really skyrocketed this year in terms of electric vehicles. We saw record splintering levels of Google searches in March for electric vehicles, but that doesn't necessarily translate into sales. First of all, there's not a lot of supply out there for electric vehicles as the supply chain continues to be really restricted. And second of all, we had alluded to prices or cost of ownership, but just the very entry price of getting an electric vehicle is prohibitive to most American pocketbooks, especially when they're feeling the strain of overall inflation, making them make spending trade-offs at this point. So it's really not translating to anything very tangible at the bottom line.
But you're kind of seeing the interest is increasing and tends to the purchasing decisions will follow at some point in the future.
Well, definitely the interest is increasing, but then it's interesting because we compare back to the 2008, 2009 crisis when gas prices were quite high as well. What we saw back then was some substitution from consumers to trucks, with less mileage per vehicle into cars. So we saw some of that movement. But it's interesting how easily we forget. Like when gas prices drift back down, as we hope they will, because the nature of most of these indicators is cyclical, consumers easily forget. And we know the American consumer is about convenience, first of all. So if gas prices don't stay high for that protracted period of time, we don't necessarily see this lasting interest in EVs.
Yeah. Yeah, wow. Americans have a very short attention span.
They do.
Shiny thing.
Squirrel.
So, the EV market now, do you think your increase in it that you saw back in March was a little bit driven by the Ford announcements and the GM announcements and the Hummer announcements, and that's being driven as much by all of the new vehicles, the EVs that are about to hit the market, or do you think it was really driven by cost of fuel?
I would say at the top line, a lot of the interest was driven by manufacturer announcements. And the New York Auto Show sure did a nice job in terms of providing an interactive EV experience. So consumers love to listen to the buzz, and there have been a lot of very exciting announcements coming out from a product perspective. So that does pique interest. But again, how does that translate into sales at the bottom line? Because the pricing is so prohibitive at this point for EVs, especially with the GM and Ford products. You know, the GM Silverado is over $100,000. Who can afford that at this point? So yeah, we do see a lot of interest sort of on the top line because of that. But the real threshold of interest in EVs right now is because of gas prices. We've definitely seen that consumers say because of gas prices, they have been more open to EVs, interested, learning more.
When you find somebody that is interested in the EV, do you ask them, are they interested in buying or just interested in learning more about it? And is there a cost factor involved when it comes to their interest in it? In other words,
is there a ceiling to their?
Yeah. In other words, I mean, today's regular gasoline engine driven car or truck or SUV is about $40,000 on average. So is anything over that? I mean, most EVs, if you want them decently loaded, is going to cost more than $40,000, and certainly Tesla.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, we do ask consumers about time horizons, first of all, whether that or not they're interested in purchasing an EV within the next 1 year, 5 years, or 10 years. And you do see some inflection points. About 10% of consumers say, hey, yeah, I'm interested in within a year. More like 40% are interested in about 5 years. But it's also important to note that at this point, almost 20% of consumers say, I'm never going to be interested in an electric vehicle. And then from a pricing perspective, and that part of that feeds into part of that purchase decision, pricing does, we look at a lot of the factors, the reasons why consumers are reticent to actually purchase electric vehicles. And pricing definitely comes to the top pack in terms of those reasons, behind range anxiety and charging infrastructure concerns.
Do you find the interest in the vehicle, the 1 year, versus the 5 year versus the 10 year versus the never? Do you find that there's an age overlay to that where
that's a good one,
the younger ones are more apt to be in the 1 year range, where us gray-headed guys sitting here, David maybe excluded, are more of the no, I'll never?
For sure. It's the younger consumers that are leading the charge to electric vehicles. They are early adopters of technology in general, and it definitely follows with the electric vehicle market. The interesting thing, though, is we also ask consumers whether or not they would prefer to purchase an electric vehicle from a traditional manufacturer like a GM or a Ford, or a purely electric manufacturer like a Tesla or a Rivian. And while younger buyers say they would prefer to purchase from a purely electric manufacturer, baby boomers actually want to purchase from an electric vehicle from a traditional manufacturer. So that's a great opportunity for the GMs and the Fords of the world.
Truly amazing.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we could talk to you all morning long. Would you like that? You had nothing.
Sure.
You had nothing else to do on a Saturday morning, did you?
Absolutely not.
Where are you located?
Right now I'm in Northern Michigan. I'm a remote worker, which is a fabulous way to be. So I'm looking out on the Bay of Northern Michigan.
Oh, how beautiful.
Well, David Ainsley's headed your way, our chief engineer over here, manning the computer this morning. Yeah, he's up there in the UP. So he'll be heading your way in June, I think.
Yeah, you got a unicorn farm up there or something.
Absolutely.
A unicorn farm. That's it. Lisa,
Perfect time of year.
Yeah, exactly. Lisa, it's been a real pleasure talking to you. Great information. Can we knock on your door again soon?
Anytime, please. Would love to chat with you folks.
Well, it's been a real pleasure. Thank you very much. Lisa Whalen with Morning Consult. It's been a pleasure.
Great info.
Yes, it truly is. Automotive and mobility analysis. Who would have thunk? But, I mean, car manufacturers, that's where they get their information.
not only them, but the media. You know, that's where all of this. Here's what's going on. Here's what to expect. They provide the data to all of those different people. You know, think about a car manufacturer, Ford and Chevy. Did they know that electrics were going to happen on their own, or were they looking at this kind of data that says, hey, you know,
And who is interested and who's buying?
right.
Well, you know, it's kind of like the paint colors on cars today. That was pretty much thought about 5 years ago.
Oh yeah, very much so.
And I think that the whole electric thing is kind of going in that same direction.
We need to ask her next time if paint colors is one of the things that
We should have.
You know,
yeah,
probably
they
think about
question
that.
customers on.
Yeah, but as far as EVs are concerned, I mean, more stories today about major manufacturer opening manufacturers, plural, or opening battery factories around the United States, which I thought was interesting, instead of importing stuff. And I think there's going to be a lot more stuff that's coming back to the United States that in the past we've depended on foreign countries to supply
And the
us.
manufacturer partnering that's going on, because Honda is going to be using the GM skateboard, what I call the skateboard, the Ultium battery pack, and putting their own vehicle on top of it.
Right.
So,
But not only colors, but what are the younger crowds looking for options? What do they want to see on the interior?
Oh.
That would be also.
well, that's a good lead into my final today.
There you go.
Options and features.
I'm trying.
Mars
Conrad,
did
I
things
really
that people don't want or don't need. I'll do things the manufacturers have stopped doing.
Yeah.
Great.
I think their tenants exhaust
Everything Mars showed before.
the twirly bird or whatever.
Well, the headers.
On a Prius.
You know, I don't do. I mean, on a race car, okay, I get headers, but on today's street car,
Headers that wake up your vet, Don.
I had headers on my '72 Nova. I put them on myself.
Headers that wake up the vet.
Yeah.
what about 10 horsepower?
Probably more than that if you do a tune along
Nowadays,
with it.
yeah.
Because you got to remember, air in, air out.
I know,
when you change one of those flow ratios of air in and air out, then you get to add more fuel.
I wonder. Yeah, well, I don't need to
And
add
that,
more
and that
fuel.
creates more power.
I understand, but I think that on, for instance, my 21-year-old car, I think that the manufacturers finally realized, hey, we're going to get some performance out of this and make it all flow a lot better. And by going through all of the, can you imagine? I cannot even imagine trying to put headers on a 21-year-old Corvette today.
Oh, you'd have to.
My 1977 Corvette, I got under there. I did the whole thing all by myself, took the entire undercarriage out. No big deal. But on today's car, no.
We did your shifter. We could do your headers in my
No,
shop.
we're not. We are not going to do that.
Or you could do shorties that are it's a header and it bolts right to the cats.
Yeah.
You know, but there's not a lot of room under the hood of that.
There's
thing
no
to do
room.
that.
There's no, not even under the hood, but even underneath
Well,
it.
from underneath is almost impossible.
Oh, it's just too much. All right. Moving on. Time now for this hour's car review. Had a chance to drive the somewhat recalled 2021 Ford Expedition recently. And the recall is because of some sort of a thermal event that on some 32,000.
Did they come pick it up?
Pardon me?
Did they pick it up because of that?
No. It was just the usual routine. Now, this is a 2021 model because the Ford press fleet is
still old.
Is still old, yeah. But at any rate, very viable still. The Expedition comes in many trim levels. Starts off the XL, goes to XLT, the Limited, the King Ranch, and the Platinum. I had the Limited 4x4, which is kind of mid-pack as far as trim levels are concerned. It is a standard SUV, according to the government. To me, it's a full-size, body-on-frame big boy.
Mm-hmm.
Seats up to 8 passengers.
Wow.
Well, let me put it this way. It was all new in 2018. Now, from what I understand, that the 2022 model has the new Ford F-150 dash in it with the big screen.
Oh, okay.
This one did not have that, okay? It's Ford's biggest body-on-frame SUV, straight lines, attractive grille and lower valance as well, automatic folding running boards.
Love that.
Me too. Attractive wheels, rear hatch and lighting, awesome. Folding running boards, as I mentioned, what is one of my favorites, because instead of doing all of these crazy things, unfolding and coming out and up and all that. It just goes, and it's
they're
there. Yeah. What could use improvement? Offer an off-road appearance package and maybe a hypo model. I think that there is a market for those.
Well,
and it doesn't have to be something crazy. Just, goose it up a little bit.
a Raptor Expedition.
Well, it could be. Sure, why not?
Big wheels and tires, nice four-wheel drive.
Look what
some skid
Chrysler has
plates.
done with
The
all of that.
TRX, right?
Interior highlights. Straightforward dash on this particular one. Rotary gear shift on the center console. I absolutely love it. I don't know why it's on the console. I'd rather have it on the dash because I don't want my center console cluttered. Except I would like to have a charge pad for my cell phone and lay the pad right down next to me so I can look down there. I can integrate it with the car, do all of that, but not on this one. Rotary gear shift on the center console. I know it sounds silly, but why have the great big stalk up here? I don't get that. It's not connected anymore.
And
it's electric.
Most vehicles have done away with that. Not all, but a lot of vehicles have done away with that stalk shifter.
Yeah. Well, controls are well placed in this. Very easy to use. The Sync 45 version works well. I don't know what number it is. Sync 92, whatever.
Probably 6.
Probably. A cargo trunk room with the third row up. Not much room except for groceries back there.
Yeah.
But that's the way that it is.
But this is the short wheelbase, not the long.
Right. Conservative styling. What I liked about it. We could use improvement. I understand the new 150 dash is in the current iteration of the Expedition. Now, engine, 3.5-liter EcoBoost V6. Now, this isn't the high horsepower. This is only 375.
Yeah, only.
Not, yeah, exactly. Torque, 470.
Which is more than sufficient.
Yeah. 10-speed automatic transmission, tow rating 9,300 pounds. It's smooth, man. I mean, that drivetrain is smooth. 17 miles per gallon city, 23 highway for a combined of 20. I got 17.3, and I'm not exactly sure why. I really didn't floor it.
I thought you'd have got a little bit better because I know
did too.
You're a little softer shoe.
Yep. 419 miles is what I drove it. Plenty of power. What could use improvement? I don't know. It's
the dash. But they did that for 2022.
Ride and handling smooth, limo-like ride.
Oh, yeah.
What could use improvement? I'd like to see a ride mode selection. They may have that. I didn't drill down into it. Base trim price. $64,625. Price is tested $71,515. Base model price $49,625. Now remember that. Base model price $49,625. The Chevy Suburban starts at $50,700. The Nissan Armada $48,900, and the Toyota Sequoia for $50,400. They're all within a couple $1,000 of each other.
But go to the dealership and try and find one of those Strippo models that probably don't exist. Everybody's playing in that mid-60s to 70 range.
Tell you what, if you got a couple of kids, you drive on your vacations maybe to go see Aunt Mary or Cousin Vicky or whoever it is that you go see in the summertime, and maybe take a little trip at Christmas time with the kids. This is the ideal vehicle for that. Yeah.
Load them up and haul them away.
Yeah. When my two girls were younger and we went on vacation, all of us together, I had a Suburban, had two of them actually. What a handy thing to have.
Yeah, they're huge because we rented one a few years ago up in the Detroit area, and it was huge for the kids. It was a great vehicle. Yeah.
Angela had a couple of Suburbans and then the Tahoe, but the Tahoe always had third row seats because we were hauling the team. Whether it was soccer, baseball, water polo, volleyball, basketball, water polo.
Yeah. They're so handy.
Mm-hmm.
I can see the popularity and how it all progressed from the Suburban era. And have you ever seen one of the original Suburbans?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
3 doors. They never had a rear door on the driver's side. You know why?
For emptying out in traffic, empty out on the curb
for
side.
safety.
Yeah.
Now they don't care.
Yeah. Well, when you had the kids going for the polo, did you have the horses in the trailer back there too?
Yes. But if you think about it, they do care because now you start seeing them talking about your door won't work if the radar sees somebody coming from the back, which I think is smart idea.
Yeah. All it is a computer, a program in the computer that's in there.
You need a chip for that.
The In-Wheel Time Car Show streams on the iHeartRadio app, Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts available from your favorite podcast provider. In-Wheel Time Car Show continues right after these brief messages.
Get out the permanent marker and write on your wall calendar the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, Saturday, September 17th, 2022. It's the fall edition of Tailpipes and Tacos at the Lupi Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Lupi's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Lupi Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Lupi trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's Tailpipes and Tacos Fall Edition, Saturday, September 17th. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the beginning of fall and the return of the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, Saturday morning, September 17th, 8 to 11 a.m. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Want to take a minute to tell you about Gulf Coast Auto Shield, a Houston detail company like no other. Gulf Coast Auto Shield offers paint correction services that'll give your car, truck, or SUV a like-new shine. Afterwards, you'll want to protect it with a professionally installed nano-ceramic coating or protection film. Worried about your very expensive windshield getting damaged, broken, or cracked? Let Gulf Coast Auto Shield install ExoShield, a windshield protection film. Give John Gray a call today or check out their website, gcautoshield.com. Hey, whether you own a new, ultra-expensive, exotic, or a 5-year-old Suburban, Gulf Coast Auto Shield will help keep your investment looking like the day it rolled off the assembly line. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is conveniently located on the South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of I-69, the Southwest Freeway. Meet the staff and check out all of their services online right now at gcautoshield.com. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Real Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Real Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/InRealTimeCarTalk.
It's the In Wheel Time Car Show, your weekly go-to all things automotive place. Ahead, Hayden Prophet talks about the 1957 Chevy Jet truck.
All right.
Wow! You're talking about going fast. We also have the stories making automotive news headlines this week. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin.
We do.
I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this Saturday. Turned a little bit chilly finally. For the weekend anyway. It's
Feels
supposed to heat
like
back up again next week. What, did we set a big record yesterday?
Set a record yesterday.
Yeah, for heat.
We had a
close to 90
record
degrees.
low high and then a record high.
We can go into that, but I don't want to.
Yeah,
I can only imagine. Yes.
Where that'd go.
I think that happened at the Autorama, but that's just another story for another day, and we won't even go there. Ask Craig Bierman. There was an alliance, or is an alliance, that issues 10 recommendations for public EV charging stations, and I had to get this in. The Alliance for Automotive Innovation, who comes up with this, on Thursday unveiled 10 recommendations for public charging stations. Don't ask me to go into all of them, as the U.S. begins to plan for a nationwide infrastructure for electric vehicles. Well, that's just great, but it's a little
So all of us have to pay for you to own an EV.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
Well, not only that, but isn't it a little late because they're already making electric cars.
Yeah, but they're trying to get them out of the city so that you can drive longer distances.
So DC fast chargers that are capable of charging at a rate of 350 kilowatts, the fastest charging speed available for light-duty vehicles today, that the Alliance says will help future-proof for new vehicle and charging technologies. Okay? Chargers that do not limit the use to a single automaker or proprietary technology such as Tesla's supercharger network. It's specific
to Tesla.
Come on, man! You got to get the plan here.
Elon's making money.
Come on, man.
Chargers that accept credit cards as well as other payment methods, like this stupid EV thing that I've got down here at the Whole Foods. You can't use a charge card. No, you have to use their
EV
card.
Right.
What is that?
Well,
really?
What they're betting on is enough people will lose that card that they don't have to provide the electricity, but they get to keep the money.
Here's something. I was at the First Colony Mall this past week, and the outdoor area where they have the shops outside of the actual mall, they have, of course, they've got the handicap parking spots, and then they have two EV charger spots, and it's a 2-hour limit. There were no EVs. There were big Escalades in there, little foreign hot rod was in there, just taking up the parking space. They weren't electric at all. So they're allowing them to do
2 hours, it only put about 30 miles in the car.
Well, whatever the case.
At least enough to get you home.
But they're designated for that, and they're not using.
So a minimum reliability standard to prevent non-operational chargers for extended periods of time. Charging stations open 24/7. Why wouldn't it be open 24/7? Stations with multiple port sites and that support a variety of vehicle designs and charging situations, and network and communication requirements that allow drivers to know whether a station is operational and if their vehicle can be charged at the site.
So if they have their vehicle-specific plug.
Yeah. So there you go.
Until they start making adapters to try and make it standardized somewhere or another.
Sounds like a thermal event waiting to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
So joining us now is a fellow by the name of Hayden Proffitt. And Hayden Proffitt, the second driver. And Hayden, it's good to see you. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me on.
Well, it's our pleasure. So the grandson of legendary Hall of Fame drag racer Hayden Proffitt, who was a 4-time national champion in NHRA and 2-time national champion in AHRA. Also his uncle, Brad, son of Hayden, piloted the USA Rocket 1 dragster. So we're talking to you today about the 57 jet truck. Please catch us up and tell us all about it.
Yeah, so it's a 1957 Chevrolet pickup truck. It's actually a fiberglass mold body, and then it's a complete tube chassis truck. It's fiberglass cab, doors. The fenders are just like an original 57. They're fiberglass, but they're stretched because we're using the tandem axles. We got two Westinghouse J34-48 jet engines in it, which came out of the Navy T2 Buckeye. They were non-afterburning in the airplane, so designed our own afterburners, and it's pretty fast.
Designed your own afterburners. So do you have aviation experience?
So I served 9 years active duty in the Air Force. Straight out of high school, and was a crew chief on C, D, and E model F-15s, the fighters.
Oh, wow.
And then my last station, I worked the B-2 stealth bomber.
So what was your
yes?
So what was your specialty as you fulfilled your duty?
So I was a crew chief. So we were.
What does that entail?
Pretty much everything when it comes to a fighter. We were considered all systems. We did have, there was certain back shops for certain things. You still had hydraulics back shops. You still had avionics and weapons, which, maintain different parts of the aircraft. But as far as like anything like hydraulic components, starting components, wheels, tires, gearboxes, actuators for all your flight control systems,
So
I maintained it.
You managed the physical plane and the powertrain in it, and then everybody had their accessories that basically went on it. But you were responsible for the plane itself.
It's that way.
Wow.
Right. I actually had,
Thank you.
Was actually name on the aircraft, was considered the dedicated crew chief of a certain airplane. So I actually had my own plane that was my baby that I took care of.
So you're familiar with the way a jet engine works and all of the components within it?
Yes, sir. Pretty much. I mean, the engines that we have on the truck are, quite a bit older than what I'm used to in the fighter world, but they're still the same concept. It's just like, a 4-cylinder or a V6 versus V8. It's all the same concept.
Right.
Essentially suck, squeeze, bang, blow. So
it just happens.
We need
at
a
much,
T-shirt like that.
It just happens at a much higher speed and a lot faster.
Gotta write that down.
And do you maintain your truck, or do you have a crew that maintains the truck with you?
No, I maintain it, transport it, clean it, drive it, you name it. I do it.
Well, so tell us then a little bit more about how can people go out and see the truck in action? Where do you generally bring the truck to show it off?
Essentially, we're all over the country. So here in about end of January, early February, we will release the first part of our schedule. So I actually just came back. I flew back from Vegas. I'm in Texas now, Central Texas, up here at Lake Buchanan. I flew in. I left Vegas yesterday at 6 in the morning, got home. I was there to get our air show work for the truck. So essentially, I do drag race stuff and air shows, military bases, civilian air shows. Primarily, the air shows is the bulk of our work. I usually do like 5 or 6 drag races a year. But primarily, the air show circuit. So a lot of the military installation bases when they have their open house air shows, and then also civilian air shows that get put on.
So you're kind of a support to if they're bringing in Blue Angels or Thunderbirds or whatever that the lead pack is. You're one of those support teams that come in to keep the people occupied watching other stuff as well.
Yes, sir. Pretty much. We're just, in addition to who all they bring in to put on the air show. So
with that,
only a few of us around.
Do you find the air shows to be more to your liking because you have a longer runway versus a quarter-mile drag strip?
No, there's I like them both, each in their own way. Drag racing, doing a drag strip, unfortunately, drag race with this size of a truck, I don't get to race anyone. So I'm just, racing myself and the light, essentially. But then the air show side of things is when we do have a performance, normally we are actually racing against an airplane.
Oh, wow.
How fast have you had this truck?
So I've personally driven it about 340 miles an hour. And then,
oh my gosh!
The original builder and owner of the truck, Les Shockley, he told me that back to back in a standing mile, the truck has been 406, 409, and then one particular time 416.
How do you keep the windshield in it? Why doesn't it just cave in?
Well, there's everything's open. Everything's open in the truck. So, I mean, when you look at it from pictures, it looks like, it's just be a standard vehicle, but it's not. The grill opening, everything's open underneath. We have holes cut in the side windows to let air out. The whole back of the cab is open. So it gets pretty turbulent in there at those speeds, but she holds up.
Wow. So you're trying to let as much air go through it as you can, because you certainly don't want to stop it, because that truck is a bit of a brick.
How did you actually put the afterburner on these engines that didn't have an afterburner?
So Les did. So what he did is essentially each engine has its own fuel control. I guess you can consider it a carburetor for like, you know, a normal kind of engine application on a vehicle. Anyway, off these controllers, we take lines to what we call a manual valve, which is connected to a lever up in the cockpit of the truck. And so as I open that lever, it opens that valve and allows fuel. It tees off, goes to each engine, and inside the exhaust, essentially, or the afterburner can, there's a fuel disbursement, what we call a spray ring, and then you actually have a flame holder, and then there's an igniter. And so I have a button on my steering wheel inside the truck. So as I open that valve, it's dumping fuel in the burner, and then I hit the button and it lights the fuel, and we have an afterburner.
I want one of those for my car.
He wants one for his Corvette.
So when somebody's, you know,
Hold that one, Jeff. Hold that one.
Okay.
when somebody is, you know, bumper tapping me on the back end, I can just light that thing up and just
Boom.
yeah, that back them off
I don't
pretty
know
quick.
if insurance would cover the fire damage.
Yeah, we're looking at a picture, and the fire is probably about 3 truck lengths behind you.
An extreme thermal event.
Yeah. So what kind of fuel are you using?
Jet A.
We actually use number 2 clear highway diesel.
Oh, wow.
Why?
Environmentally correct.
So, diesel's just, I mean, Jet A, diesel, they're pretty close to the same thing. Diesel's a little dirtier. We get better, if you've seen some of the videos, better smoke when we're just laying down our smoke. Which all that is I'm dumping fuel into the burner, but I'm not lighting it.
It's kind of like
Creates
rolling
that smoke
coal.
cloud yeah.
Yeah, rolling
not-
coal with a jet.
Just not black, it's black. So essentially it burns, you know, it's dirtier, so we get a better cloud. Also, diesel actually has a higher BTU rating and burn than jet fuel. So we actually make a little more power, but everyone's like, well, then why don't we use it in airplanes? It's like, well, diesel has the low tolerance for freezing. So you get up at altitude, if you were to use it in a plane, you know, it would not be a good thing.
Yeah, solidifying your fuel at 30,000 feet is probably not a good idea.
No, not a good idea.
So the pictures are just unbelievable. We've been showing a few of the pictures while we're talking to you of this truck at speed. And to me, it's just kind of mind-boggling because it's not aerodynamic. But you're getting up to north of 300 miles an hour purely based on the power. And is that partially because you've got a twin engine in it?
Yeah, I mean the truck's not light, you know, it's not people have seen, you know, the jet dragsters and stuff, and you know, we don't weigh, you know, 1,500 pounds like some of these cars now, and some of them are even less with engines in them. One of my engines weighs more than that.
Oh, wow.
So this truck, with both engines, full of fuel, me in it, we're like 6,700 pounds.
Going
so it's
400
a lot of weight.
an hour. That takes courage.
Well, not only that, how long does it take you to stop that thing once you get going?
Well, we use, for braking, I got 6-wheel disc brakes. Of course, I mean, I don't use them until I'm under like at least 100 miles an hour. But we have 4 parachutes on the truck. Two are primary, 2 are backup, and they're all 4 of them are 16-foot ring slot, essentially cargo chutes from the military.
Have you ever forgot to turn off the afterburner before you deployed the chutes?
No. Always on all the controls, and even if I were to slip off the one handle, there's actually a bar that runs across all my controls. So as I pull the parachute out, or as I pull that lever back to release the parachutes, it actually turns everything off simultaneously.
Safety feature. Yeah.
Okay.
Have you ever said, "Hold my beer, watch this"?
No, I've said hold on to your butt, but
Oh. now you don't take passengers in this, do you?
I have.
Oh my God!
You know,
Yeah.
one of it. There's a guy that's supposed to be blasting off by the name of Michael Strahan. I think that you ought to approach him and say, "Hey, you might have gone to outer space, but I got an outer space experience right here on the
Yeah,
ground."
really. So Hayden, when's your next event?
So my next event, February 13th, I'll be down in Monterrey, Mexico.
Oh, cool.
Oh, okay.
It's really a nice looking truck.
Beautiful truck.
Yeah,
I mean,
it really is.
Really beautiful truck.
And I assume that the two spoilers that are on it actually work.
Oh yeah, the two spoilers and then the engines. So the truck could be faster, but lighter, everything. But I mean, the truck's designed, to put on a show, and it's also designed for, if I were to have a catastrophic incident and crash, it's designed for me to be able to walk away from it. The truck, the engines are actually mounted in the truck at a -1 degree angle, to where the thrust is actually pushing the truck in the ground to keep it from trying to
lift.
So with the spoiler, the engines at over 300 miles an hour, there's over 10,000 pounds of downforce on that truck.
So who sleeps in the sleeper?
The guy riding with him.
Nobody. So that just actually covers up the front inlets and the starters and our additional upper fuel tank.
So what's up there where the engine normally would be?
Under the hood.
Under the hood.
Ballast.
Nothing. It's all tube chassis. We're trying to get as much airflow to the engines as possible. On an aircraft, they have dedicated ducting or inlets. You would say, to help feed the engines the air.
Right.
Well, with us, I mean, the engine sitting behind me, you got seats, you got the roll cage, you got all this additional equipment, and essentially you're not, you don't have a way to really force the air, essentially to the inlets. So the actual floor pan in the truck is kind of shaped like an inlet to try to direct airflow the best we can, but everything is kept open up front. So where you see the grill, all of that is completely open to get as much air to the engines as we can.
So your version of ram air is right there, the whole front end.
Pretty much, yes, sir.
And you as a driver are in that airstream.
Yes.
So not only are you now doing over 300 miles an hour, you could also, if you weren't strapped in, be sucked into the engine.
Yeah, what was it? It was suck, squeeze, and what?
Blow?
Spit and blow.
Spit?
Blow and spit.
I don't think that's right.
Well, that's just insane. That is just it is so cool to look at the pictures. When is your next event here in the States?
Shoot. I would have to look at my schedule. I'm not sure right off the top of my head.
Okay, let me ask you this:
We'll follow.
Do you have a page that you can go to that shows your schedule?
Yeah. So when it gets published, it'll be smokeandthunder.com. We have both our pickup truck and our single engine dragster on there.
Smokeandthunder.com.
That was your nickname in high school.
That was. That's exactly right. Oh, Lord have mercy. Well, Hayden, I can't tell you how much fun this has been. It's truly a pleasure to talk to you.
Very cool truck.
And he's based here in Texas.
And we're in
Day, Texas.
Where do you live?
I live out here on Lake Buchanan in Central Texas.
Okay. Well, darn. I mean, you're just a hop, skip, and a jump. Hey, anytime you want to come down here and work on one of our freeways with us, come on. We got some work for you to do with that jet on the freeway.
Yeah, we need to clear a spot out.
Yeah, pick a spot, mark a spot.
Hey, get the troopers or highway patrol out there, shut it down, get some videos. I'll come down.
I know you will. I know you will.
What was the name of the website again?
It's smokeandthunder.com.
Okay. So it's still under development then.
The calendar for this next season, yes.
Okay. Well, cool.
But the website, it's up?
Yeah, the website should be up.
All right.
Okay, so
we will
spell
find
it for me because we're having trouble finding it.
So
Smoke.
it's Smoke, SMOKE,
Okay.
and
The word and.
The word and.
Thunder.
Thunder, THUNDR
Well, I'm looking over.
.com.
I'm
Okay.
looking
Might be
over.
Smoke and Thunder jetshows.com.
Oh, that might be it. Okay.
Hayden, thanks. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Let's stay
We
in
want to
touch.
be you.
Yeah, and next time you come through Houston, look us up.
We'll have a light
Yes, sir,
for you.
will do.
Thank you.
Thanks. Good luck.
Just a reminder, we'd love to hear from you. Just shoot us an email. The address here is info@inwheeltime.com.
A family legacy going fast.
340 miles an hour.
In a 56 Chevrolet truck.
57.
That weighs
57,
3,800 pounds.
Excuse me.
Wow. Okay. Wholesale used vehicle prices set new records once again in November as consumer demand remained high amid continued inventory shortages. Cox Automotive's Manheim Used Vehicle Value Index, which tracks vehicles sold at Manheim's U.S. auctions, rose 44% in November compared with the same month in 2020. The November index increased 3.9% from October. According to data released Tuesday, those numbers were adjusted for mix, mileage, and seasonality. Black Book on Monday reported a new record and similar surge in its own used vehicle index for November. Black Book's retention index increased 189.9 points, 45% above where it was in November 2020. The index rose 5.4% from October.
Did you see the used cars I'd posted on our Facebook page? A 3,500 Mercedes-Benz Sprinter went for $147,000 used. It was $143,000 new. and then somebody else paid, what was it, $42,000 for a Honda S2000?
How much?
$42,000.
Oh, no.
Just complete insanity.
Why would you do that? I mean, you got money to burn.
Well,
clearly.
I think some of that is when you get emotional into something like that, you're definitely going to pay
emotional
more.
money
Yeah.
and
Government check.
no, it's just people. Some people now that we've gotten a little bit older, Don, have a little more funds to try and do a few things.
Well,
like that.
you speak for yourself because I don't.
Some people, I said.
Some.
So
Yes.
Smoke and Thunder is on our Facebook page as well. Thanks, Randy Weldon, for finding it because I couldn't spell it.
They spelled it for you.
If you're in the market for a Ford F-150 Lightning, forget it. Jim Farley told Automotive News in November that reservations for the pickup were approaching 200,000 units. They have, and so they're done.
So
Now, mind you, you put your name on the, well, you were able to put your name on the list, but they're not even going to start making it till next year.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be on the road until May.
So if you're taking reservations, why wouldn't you take reservations for
The next year
because
production?
they've 200,000. They're not going to make 200,000 trucks. They got, or SUVs. They got 200,000 people going, I want that.
Well, so why wouldn't you make 200,000 if you got a deposit from them? I mean, it worked for.
So you can raise the price. So you can build different models. So you can try to keep up with demand. Try to. Good luck.
So did you hear
Corinthian
Ford is
leather.
also using recycled ocean plastic for some of the clips under the hoods of their vehicles?
I heard that.
Are holding stuff. I thought it was a great idea.
Yeah, me too. I think that there was a commercial that actually included that in it. And impressive. Why not?
Yeah, get some of the plastic out of the ocean.
Yeah.
and find a use for it.
Well, we need to take a little quick break here. Is that okay with you, girls?
Yes.
Because we're going to wrap up the show.
All right.
Okay. We'll be right
Get
back.
out the permanent marker and write on your wall calendar the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, Saturday, September 17th, 2022. It's the fall edition of Tailpipes and Tacos at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Loopy's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's Tailpipes and Tacos Fall Edition, Saturday, September 17th. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there, too. Celebrate the beginning of fall and the return of the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, Saturday morning, September 17th, 8 to 11 a.m. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Want to take a minute to tell you about Gulf Coast Auto Shield, a Houston detail company like no other. Gulf Coast Auto Shield offers paint correction services that'll give your car, truck, or SUV a like-new shine. Afterwards, you'll want to protect it with a professionally installed nano-ceramic coating or protection film. Worried about your very expensive windshield getting damaged, broken, or cracked? Let Gulf Coast Auto Shield install Exo Shield, a windshield protection film. Give John Gray a call today or check out their website, gcautoshield.com. Hey, whether you own a new, ultra-expensive, exotic, or a 5-year-old Suburban, Gulf Coast Auto Shield will help keep your investment looking like the day it rolled off the assembly line. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is conveniently located on the South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of I-69, the Southwest Freeway. Meet the staff and check out all of their services online right now at gcautoshield.com. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/InWheelTimeCarTalk.
We think it's the In Wheel Time Car Show, the place for weekly entertaining, and there's no doubt about that, car talk. Emily Voss with Carfax joins us, along with her partner there, with the very latest on the company and the used car market. Conrad has the popular This Week in Auto History. We'll get you updated on the stories making car news this week, and I'll have a review of the 2022 Wagoneer. It doesn't have a actual car company that's associated with it, from what I understand, because it doesn't say anything about Jeep or Chevrolet or anything else, just called a Wagoneer.
They are definitely differentiating
launching
themselves.
its own brand.
Never heard of a Chevrolet Wagoneer.
So at any rate, welcome along with Mike out of this world, Mars, drinking, and that's alcohol that's in there.
It better be.
Yeah,
I wish.
Smoking.
At this point.
And King Conrad DeLong, and we need more, Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad that you could join us this morning. And we're sorry for being late on the air because of technical difficulties.
Mars.
Please stand by.
We were, too.
Let's go to our guest this hour, Emily Voss and Faisal Hassan with Carfax. Good morning, you guys. How are you?
Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
It's great to have you.
Good.
It's great to have you guys with us. Boy, I'll tell you what, since the last time we talked, what a change in the used car market. Oh, my God. Are you guys going crazy with all the Carfaxes coming through? I want to find out about this used car that I'm going to buy.
Yes, it has been a huge change since the last time we saw you. We're just seeing unprecedented things happening, as you guys, I'm sure, have been talking about in the used car market. Record prices. We've never seen prices like this before. So even just year over year, from last January to this January, prices are up 40% on used cars.
That's
40%.
That is completely crazy.
Yeah, it truly is. And I just read a story yesterday that everybody is predicting that this resurgence, if you will, interest in used cars is going to continue through at least the third quarter and maybe into the fourth quarter. Is that what you guys are hearing too?
Yeah, we're hearing the same thing. So a lot of this, obviously, we know about the production issues with new cars, the chip shortage. It all factors into what we're seeing in the used car market too. And from what we're hearing, analysts are saying that probably won't correct itself or level off a little bit until the second half of the year. So that is what we are hearing right now. And truly, vehicle history has never been more important, because if you're already paying 40% more, you want to know the history of that vehicle. You want to make sure you're not missing out on something else about that vehicle and have a surprise down the road.
Well, it's truly amazing. Any particular trends that you're seeing? Are people just buying whatever they can, or do they have a list, and then from the list that they narrow in on a car? Yeah. Is it going to anything out there, or is the one particular, for instance, are the SUVs hot, CUVs, four-door sedans? What is it in particular that's really got the hot spot going?
Yeah, so I can tell you sedans are actually what we've seen in the last year. So 2021 was really the year of the sedan. So sedan prices are up actually 43% from this same time last year. They've kind of led the way, but I mean, trucks and pickup trucks and SUVs also, pickup trucks up 29%, SUVs up 33%.
Wow.
But sedans by far and away the most popular. Also, the price point for a sedan is lower usually to start with. And so, but we've just seen a huge increase. So a year ago, the average sedan cost about $16,000, and now it costs almost $23,000.
Holy
the average. So when we look at our Carfax used car listings, the average price of a sedan listed on there right now is about $23,000.
And that's funny because sedan sales have been seriously declining over the last 4 or 5 years because everybody's been pushing into the CUV, SUV, and I can't imagine there's that much inventory of sedans out there available for that kind of a rush in price.
Right. I'm sure that might play into it. The supply issue. I think we have a, classic supply demand across the used car market right now. But you're exactly right, because a year ago, the story we were talking about was that SUVs for the first time in history had surpassed the demand for SUVs had surpassed the demand for sedans. And now, a year later, we've kind of seen a shift back to the sedans.
So what I'm hearing is mileage and condition aren't really a big factor anymore. Just the availability of the vehicle.
No, they continue to be a factor, because when you're paying 40% over for a sedan, right? 40% over for a sedan, 29% over for an SUV or a truck, it becomes even more important. And cars are moving so fast, they're not going through the normal wholesale process where they're going to go to a physical auction and go through the condition. No, now the buyer really has to beware. And so we've seen significantly more usage of our reports. So yeah, there's no question that condition report writing, the use of vehicle history, knowing all of those things has become even more crucial.
And you're saying that because less of the vehicles are coming through auction, because you see all the dealers are advertising, I want to buy your used car.
I get that all the time.
So is that part of why Carfax becomes even more important?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you look at the Carvanas, the Vrooms, you look at those types of models where you're not even going to a dealer, you're buying online. You're trying to do everything online, and the vehicle history report becomes even that much more important. That test drive that you need to take is much tougher to take. So you've got to find someone to inspect that car for you in addition to the vehicle history report. Those things have become more important. What COVID and the pandemic did was they changed the market, right? It stopped us from going to our traditional dealer for almost 8 months. And if you needed a car, you were going online, you were going to Carvana, you were going to those types of models.
Speaking of which, and that's the next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about. How does Carfax work in conjunction with people buying online from providers, if you want to call them that, Vroom, Carvana, Drive Time, those kind of online dealers. How does Carfax work in conjunction with them?
Well, we're there to help to aid the consumer, right? So if you go to any of these entities, you'll see the Carfax report there available for you. And that's the key. So whether you're buying from Carvana or Vroom or AutoNation, or you go to Carfax used car listings, at Carfax.com or AutoTrade or any of these places, you're going to see the Carfax report right there. So when you're buying online, you're able to go and at least see the history of the car, the Carfax history-based value, and then just like we write on the report, and then you also need to get the car inspected. Especially if you're buying it online, we hear stories all the time of people buying a car 2 states over because there's no inventory in their state and they're going to have it shipped to them. And so you've really got to find an inspector there to look at it or make the car contingent. And the market makes that really hard because of that demand.
How do you find an inspector that you could trust in the city that you are?
Well, what you do is if you have a mechanic that you've been going to regularly, take the car to that mechanic. That's really the best way to do it. If you're buying a house, what you're always advised is realtors are trustworthy, but get your own inspector to inspect your house. It's the same way here. You want to buy a used car from someone. If you go to a Carfax dealer, those guys are very reputable. They're running the Carfax report. They're reconditioning the car. They're doing all of that hard work. And some of them are actually even doing inspections of the car and posting them on the Carfax report. You'll see actually a link on the Carfax report to an independent inspection that was done in addition to the vehicle's history.
I didn't know there was such a thing as a Carfax dealer. Tell me about that.
Sure. Go ahead, Emily.
So it's a dealer that offers you the Carfax report. So we partner with over 28,000 dealers around the country who offer the Carfax report, upfront there when you're shopping with them, whether online, like we were talking about, or whether you go to the physical dealership. They provide you that Carfax report so that you can make those decisions more confidently when you're buying the car and have that history up front. So, also to Faisal's point, we were talking about how to find a reputable, I just want to circle back to how to find a reputable shop too. If you don't have a mechanic, right? If you don't have somebody that you trust, on Carfax, we have a service shop finder, and you can read actual reviews from verified customers who have been, so you can look and this works even if you were going to buy a car from a state away. You can put in a zip code and look up service shops in that area that have 4.9 5-star reviews from 100 verified Carfax consumers, people who actually we know they took their car to that shop, got it serviced, and then they wrote the review. So it's not flooded with, anything else. It is actually truly verified reviews from people who went there. And that's a great way to be able to know that other consumers like you have trust to shop and find somewhere.
So let me ask you, if I'm buying from that other state online, whether it be Carvana, Vroom, or just some Craigslist, wherever, and I can pull the Carfax. I understand that's a good thing. We got to do that. So have you ever seen somebody make arrangements to have that vehicle inspected remote? Like from me to you, you're on the East Coast someplace. If I was buying a car there, have you ever seen anybody make arrangements for a shop to go get that car and do that kind of inspection?
Yes, and Faisal can talk to this too, but yes, so you can mechanics will go inspect the vehicle even if you are not physically there for you.
To do a pre-purchase inspection.
One of the best ways to find that mechanic is go to Carfax and find a reputable shop. If I live in Washington, D.C., if I'm buying a car from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, I'm going to go to the Carfax and I'm going to look up a shop that's 4.5, 5-star ratings. It's got a lot of verified reviews. And I'm going to say, hey, within 5 minutes of you, I'm about to buy this car. Can I pay you, $25, $50 to go and inspect it for me and let me know what you think?
So do the criteria vary from state to state? Is it set up by Carfax or does the repair?
Is it set up by the shop?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, is the criteria, because Mike's buying it from 2 states over, does the same thing apply as an inspection as it would here?
No, not necessarily. It's pretty wide open, in all honesty. You've just got to find someone you trust who can go and inspect it. There are no specific rules or regulations. But, I've taken used cars that I've bought to a mechanic I trust and just said, hey, just give it the once over, and they'll do an inspection of it. They'll check the tires. They'll check is the engine oil, does it look clean, like it's been changed regularly? That sort of thing. And really mechanical, there are companies out there that will go out and inspect it for damage as well. But, anything you can do along with that vehicle history report is really going to get you where you need to be.
How much does Carfax cost?
If you're buying a report yourself, $40. And then if you were going to a dealer, a lot of dealers, and even if you're looking to buy a car from a private seller, a lot of times you can ask that seller, can you provide me the Carfax? And that is totally within reason. And a lot of times the sellers will provide it, sometimes even up front without you even having to ask.
And how do you get your information about whatever car it is that you can get a Carfax on? How do you get the information about the car?
Well, you're asking the right person, because Faisal is actually our head of data. So
well man, you're asking about our secret sauce. And,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so we've been around since 1986, right? And so we go and work with over 130,000 entities. And the reason the number is so large is we go to the point of creation. Who's touching that car? Who's making that? Who's doing that oil change? Who's changing the brakes on that car? We work with the vehicle manufacturers to help them close recalls. So they're sending, VIN level recall to us. So there's literally thousands. If you think about anything that could happen to a car from the moment it leaves the factory until it becomes scrap metal, we go out and we try to talk about that piece of metal from the moment it leaves the factory till it becomes scrap again. What happened to that piece of the metal, and what are all of the things that could have happened to it? And so we go and we scour the earth for that data.
So has the vehicle maintenance, just the normal maintenance a customer would perform on their vehicle, how is that reporting done to Carfax? Let's say if I go to, Joe Blow's repair shop and get my brakes done and get all of that, does he have to report it to Carfax, or does Carfax somehow look into his database to see that VIN has been serviced?
So we work with close to 70,000 service and repair facilities, and we go directly to the principal of that facility. Carfax doesn't go into anybody's system or anything like that. Data's pushed to us only if if a shop wants to participate. And we help them. We help the consumer track the history of the car. We don't know who owns the car. All we know is that a VIN got an oil change, or a VIN got a tire rotation. But no. The shop pushes the data to us. It's purely voluntary if they want to participate. And we've seen the shops, the 70,000 shops that participate, they've seen the value back to their consumers, because we have 33 million VINs that are in Carfax Car Care.
Wow.
And those are consumers who have opted in and said, hey, I want you to be my virtual glove box. And we had millions every single month who sign up for this. And so we can tell them when they need an oil change, when it's time to re-register their car, if they've got an open recall. I mean, we're in their pocket all the time. We don't know who they are, right? Because they just sign up using an email, but they opt in, and we've got 33 million and growing.
Well, I think that I used your service back in the 80s when you first came about, and I think that a lot has happened in that period of time, and you guys have really ballooned as far as the information that you gather and what is now available. Have you not?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, in 86, 87, when our founder found us in Columbia, Missouri, he had 10,000 title brand records. We're loading 5.5 million records a day today. 5.5 million a day.
Well, and Carfax is the player in the market. You guys have created your own market by offering these services to buyers and to sellers and to the dealerships in the middle. You really don't have any, I'm going to blurt this out and you might correct me on this, you really don't have any competition in the market for what you do.
I think what Carfax did was we found a place where the market had a void. And we came in and filled the void. There are others trying to fill the void. There's absolutely no question. We really don't look around us as to who's doing what. We have a very clear mission, is to help people buy and sell cars, with the best information possible. We stay focused on that mission, and it's a really amazing thing to watch the market change because of companies like Carfax, and our pioneering effort. It used to be, you guys know this, used to be you go out and buy a used car, you had to trust what the seller was selling you. And today you've got someone there to help you. And that's a good thing.
You've got data. That's the thing I like about it. It's not, we do car reviews here. Don and I get a new car. We do car reviews. There are some facts in there, but there's also some opinion, obviously. We kind of like this. We kind of don't like that, even if we don't come out and blurt that out. But everything that you put on your Carfax is all data. There's no opinions in it. There's no I like, I don't like. It's real, and that's it.
Here's what was done, and here's why it was done.
And I think that's what's so great about it.
And to that point, also, they indicated that they track oil changes and things of that nature. Can it be branched out to, say, boats or motorcycles? Now, obviously, they're not in any crashes to do a report. But
he's smiling.
Yeah, I mean, you heard it here
I'm
first.
Smiling. I'm only smiling because I've been at Carfax 22 years, and we've looked at all of those things, and we've had people with great ideas come to us.
I knew it was a great idea.
We've even had companies come to us wanting to track homes, right? And it is really very different. I mean, because a vehicle in 1981, they created the VIN, and it's required on every vehicle. It's a little bit of a different animal. We've looked at boats, we've looked at motorcycles, I spent a year looking at doing it with homes. It is very different, very different. And because this is about the VIN, and it's not about a person, it's about a piece of metal, and we actually don't give VIN information. Somebody has to have a VIN to bring to us and run against our system. It's a slightly different animal when it comes to vehicles.
Well, and it's good to know that you've concentrated on the whole car aspect of it. Listen, it's always great to talk to you guys, and we need to do this on a more regular basis so we can get up to date information on this used car frenzy that's going on. And I have a feeling that it's going to continue, maybe not to the extent that it is today, but I think that this whole pandemic thing has really opened up a lot of people's opinions about buying a used car as opposed to a new car. Because let's face it, now we're talking, generally speaking, an average price of a used car has finally gone up to $40,000. That's a lot when you can get a really decent used car for $20,000-$30,000.
I'm going to sell mine.
Yeah. It's a great time to sell. If you have to turn around and buy again, you're going to be paying for it.
Emily, you might want to just quickly touch on the new car, what's happening with new car prices, right? That the used car prices have surpassed them.
Yeah, we've seen some situations where vehicles are the used, because the new car, you can't get it anywhere, and there's no projected date of where certain models are going to be back in stock. So people are paying more than MSRP for the used version of those vehicles, which is just not over MSRP for a new, over MSRP for a used version, a 2019 or 2020, because they can't find it, which is just, unheard of. So,
yes.
Yeah, we have a used car operator, Emmons Motorplex, that we have on the show with some regularity. And they were showing us where the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter vans, a 2 or 3 year old one, is selling for more than a brand new one is.
Because you can't get a brand new one.
Right.
You can't get the new one.
I got my eye on an Oldsmobile Rally.
Well, it's again great to talk to you guys. Thank you so much for joining us on this Saturday, and let's stay in touch.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Emily
DJ
Voss and Faisal Hassan. We really appreciate it. All right, we're going to move on. We got lots to get to this morning. As a matter of fact, it's time for This Week in Auto History.
Okay, I got to load that puppy.
Well, where have you been? What have you been doing over there?
I just got to bring it up. I had your review in first.
I thought you said you had jury duty.
I'm going to start here in a minute.
All right, Conrad. It is all yours, sir.
We up there, Jeffrey?
Yep.
So and I'm going to pick the wrong one.
Where's he at now? It's everybody's life.
In 1911, Rolls-Royce adopted the Spirit of Ecstasy mascot, the silver-winged hood ornament that's become very popular as the Rolls-Royce symbol. And it's always been mounted to the grill. And in years recent, they actually have it where it disappears into the grill because
I saw that, yeah.
people would just walk by and try and steal it and break it off.
Yep.
And now they actually have it where it's motorized and it drops down under the hood and disappears.
And it's probably worth several $100s.
And then in 1929, Major Seagrave set a new land speed record of 231 miles an hour on the Daytona beach, driving a car called the Golden Arrow. Look at this car and look at in 1929, the aerodynamics of it as well. You know, they've got these lines that follow these solid tires, trying to keep the aerodynamics of the car correct, and how the front wing and everything works. Pretty far advanced for its day.
No numbers on coefficient or anything?
No numbers on coefficient. In 1937, after a difficult 44-day sit-down strike at the Fisher Body Plant in Flint, Michigan, General Motors signed the first union contract in history in the automotive industry with Fisher by Body, and then eventually it turned into the United Auto, or
Body by
UAW,
Fisher, yeah.
Body by Fisher.
Yeah, that's right. I worked for them.
In 1948, the first Cadillac with tail fins was produced,
yes,
signaling the dawn of the tail fin era. Harley Earl had looked at the P-38 Lightning World War II plane and said, hey, I just like the look of that, and then started adding tail fins. And tail fins were all the rage from 48 to about 60, with the tallest tail fins on Cadillacs done in 1959.
You betcha.
And this 62 sedan Cadillac is also the base for ZZ Top's Cadzilla. Not this particular car, but the 62 Series 62 Cadillac. In 1952, the first "Don't Walk" sign was installed in New York City. The city erected the signs in response to the growing awareness of pedestrian fatalities, as people would just step out in the street. And in New York, pedestrians don't have the right of way. They just have the right of getting run over. So New York came up with the "Don't Walk" sign.
Kind of like Mars did this morning.
But
got run over.
You're assuming people follow the rules, and that is New York, remember. In 1954, Mercedes introduced their 300 SL Coupe to the public. A stylish sports car characterized by its gull-wing doors, the Coupe was a consumer version of the 300 SL race car, which had a 6-cylinder engine with a top speed of 155 miles an hour. That 6-cylinder engine was also had the fuel injection system of a Messerschmitt, which was a gasoline direct injected engine back in 1954. Pretty advanced for its day. Mercedes only manufactured 1,400 SL coupes. The SL is still considered one of the most impressive sports cars of its day, and some of them went through in the $3 to $5 million range recently at the auctions in Scottsdale and Florida.
Thank you.
Yep.
You're welcome.
As far as headlines this week, Kia America and Hyundai Motor America are recalling more than 500,000 vehicles combined for possible defects that could cause engine compartment thermal events, namely fires. According to separate notices filed with NHTSA, affected Kias are the 2016 through 18 K900 and the 14 through 16 Sportage models. The affected Hyundai vehicles, 2016 to 18 Santa Fe, 17 to 18 Santa Fe Sport, the 19 Santa Fe XL, and the 14 to 15 Tucson models, or as I like to call them, the Tucson models.
Oh.
The K900.
The K900. Who does that? Who names a car after a dog?
Because K800 was already taken.
Oh, God, that's just so wrong. I think every Audi made in the 2019 through 2021 model years are being recalled. I mean, look at the list. What is that? 2 dozen? All of them. 2 dozen of them. The rear axle may be misaligned in those cars.
Nice.
Have your rear tires wear out in 1,000 miles or something. Chrysler, the Ram 2500 from 2019 to 2020, the windshield wipers may not operate properly, all as well as
Because there's a nut loose.
On the wheel, yeah.
in this building, there's a nut loose, or two, or three, or four. Cadillac rear-wheel drive shaft assemblies may fail. Oops.
No.
Vehicle may fail to stop at the stop sign for the Tesla Model 3, S, X, and Y. And the Porsche Cayenne is being recalled because the rear axle may be misaligned in that.
Well, that's a shared platform with Audi.
Mercedes-Benz AMG GT, incorrect length wiring harness may become damaged. They stretched it a little bit too tight. And the seatbelt chime may not activate. God knows we need that. In the Tesla Model 3, S, X, and Y from 17 to 22.
S, X, and Y.
Sexy.
Bringing sexy back.
Bringing my sexy back.
We do that every Saturday.
Well, not this Saturday. Time now for a quick break. We'll be
Get out the permanent marker and write on your wall calendar the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, Saturday, September 17th, 2022. It's the fall edition of Tailpipes and Tacos at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Loopy's chili pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's Tailpipes and Tacos Fall Edition, Saturday, September 17th. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there, too. Celebrate the beginning of fall and the return of the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, Saturday morning, September 17th, 8 to 11 a.m. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Want to take a minute to tell you about Gulf Coast Auto Shield, a Houston detail company like no other. Gulf Coast Auto Shield offers paint correction services that'll give your car, truck, or SUV a like-new shine. Afterwards, you'll want to protect it with a professionally installed nano-ceramic coating or protection film. Worried about your very expensive windshield getting damaged, broken, or cracked? Let Gulf Coast Auto Shield install Exo Shield, a windshield protection film. Give John Gray a call today or check out their website, gcautoshield.com. Hey, whether you own a new, ultra-expensive, exotic, or a 5-year-old Suburban, Gulf Coast Auto Shield will help keep your investment looking like the day it rolled off the assembly line. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is conveniently located on the South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of I-69, the Southwest Freeway. Meet the staff and check out all of their services online right now at gcautoshield.com. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Real Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Real Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/InRealTimeCarTalk.
Well, you know what that sound means, don't you? Thank God it's over. Well, that's a wrap for this week's In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. When you're on our Facebook page, please give us a like, tell your friends about us, and share our junk if you would, please. You'll get Conrad's unicorn hunting features along with all things automotive all week long.